Hey, we love that umbrella guy. All right. Thank you.
I'm calling from Los Angeles, and I'm having a little problem under the name ThATuMBRELLAgUY. I sent him my phone number at least 20 times in the chat and told him to call me. He ignored me. I'm a man. I filed the report. If you guys could take a look at it and give me a call back, I would love to hear what you guys can do to help us. We really need to kind of stop this guy at least until Monday. I told him to call me. I'm a man.
You know what? I talk to your man.
Rolling up, I'm feeling fly, yeah, I'm so damn fresh. Got that platinum grill, bringing in the chest. Diamonds in my mouth, shining when I speak. That umbrella guy, flossing speaking geek. Ice on my teeth, I'm dripping so hard. Platinum grills, I'm the king of the boulevard. Throwing money in the club, making haters mad. I'm the baddest in the game, no one gets a pass. Ooh yeah. Crushing all these lines, yeah, I feel fly. Rolling on the dubs, that umbrella guy. Iced out cold on the boulevard. You ain't a comic gangster, don't be playing hard. Ice on my teeth, I'm flying so high. Dropping the bass, that umbrella guy. One drill to rule them all, one drill to bind them. Baby, I'm so iced out, gonna blind them. Rolling in town, I'm an army of one. Doing verbal walk-bys, blazing like the sun. Riding in my whip, crushing false accusers. Dropping off the bass on the real abusers. Yeah. Living life fast, no time for the slow. Justice on my mind, stacking up on my throat. Life in the fast lane, no time to blink. Ice on my teeth, watch it when I speak. Chilling on my rhymes, never missing a beat. Ice on my teeth, yeah, I'm living that sweet. That umbrella guy, bringing the platinum heat. Crushing every hater, no time for defeat. Ooh yeah.
All right, I fixed that. Look how fast I can fix those StreamYard problems these days, baby. What's up? What's up, folks? Oh my goodness. Yeah, that actually wasn't a mute problem. I wish I would have just boomered it. I thought I did at first. I was like, what the heck, man? No, I had to switch inputs over. StreamYard decided for some reason, usually a byproduct of mass flagging, usually means somebody don't want you talking about what's going on. You gotta love it, baby. You gotta love it. Man, how's everybody doing today, by the way? Let me say this too. So right now you're going to have, with everything that's going on as of late, you're going to have an influx of people that I hate to use it's a derivative term, but I'm going to say it anyway. They would be people you would see as part of the quote unquote ecosystem. Now, when I use that term, I'm talking about the people with microphones, the people that were part of a conspiracy that was thrown out. But when you see people that you get accustomed to, the chatters there, a lot of people, you know, they see them as part of that. Well, they're not. They're just people that were there. Now, you're going to see an influx of them as of late because all these people are turning on one another. There's some pretty nasty business going on, and it's proving a lot of what we've said right for a while. So when they come in, again, as long as they are, you got to remember, we don't have a lot of rules here. Again, you know, people are allowed to disagree. I would say that if it just eats the entire chat up, they need to be reminded not to do that, you know. But people are allowed to disagree. They are allowed to talk. Like a lot of this, again, is not a unilateral mindset. People are allowed to come to their conclusions based on stuff. All takers are welcome, man. It's good to see, you know. It is. Like I said, they're allowed to disagree, but hey, only me, by the way. So it's hard to talk in the chat, you know. So I saw only me there, by the way. These people, man, I don't know if you caught the newest today, but Ray put out a video today, by the way. He put out, it's pick it up from about 8 minutes in. It talks about not only decrying Michelle Preston, but it had a few statements about yourself. Let's see. This is a guy that, of course, wanted your money not too long ago. But he said that, now this is his quote. He said that you're not a real man, that that he got a feel for you. Basically, as long as you begged and pleaded with them about something, they'd be okay. But you should watch it. It's very telling about these people. I think you've gotten a good feel of them, you know. I think you have. It really annoyed me. I'll say this, man. I think you tried to do something good. I do. I think $56,000 speaks for itself. You know, I got very annoyed when I saw that you, I felt like they were taking advantage of you. I think that they wanted your wallet. They definitely did. And yeah, if you would have linked up with them, like I said, I would retract a word. I called you a coward then, and I very much did. And I hope you understand that the reason I said that is because if you would have let that go in the way they treated you, there would be something wrong. But man, you dropped elbow on them the other day. So you're good. But I think, again, money-wise, I think you tried to do something good. There's nothing to take away from that. These people, they want to take away from it. In fact, yesterday, the entire ecosystem world blew up. And Michelle Preston is seeming to understand the money. Let me make this clear. Money was raised in her name and in a kid's name. All right. Michelle Preston she's the guardian of that person. Person is a minor. They cannot say that they raised money for whatever. I raised it for a house for this person. No, you raised it in their name. Whether you want to say it was for a house or whatever, you raised it in their name, it's their money. It's legally their money. You can't switch off and say you raised it for HG. That is the guardian's money too. But the number keeps coming up at $18,000. Now that has been said by Preston, and that has been said by 2L1. $18,000. Now, first of all, I want you to think about how much money that is, because I think Preston, regardless if you like or dislike, I think very poorly of Preston. I think very poorly of them. There was question too about raising money for an RV. Typically, if these were just people that needed help, yes, 100%, man. I think you would be onto that. The only thing, my problem with this is that these are people, the stuff that we're talking about. I'll tell you what, only me. Megan will be back Monday. I've been having some health problems. It makes my memory fuzzy in certain spots, and I don't want to leave anything out of it. So I want to pull together everything to show you definitively what I'm talking about. Okay. Not to mock or deride, but definitively show you things. If you want to have a conversation about that, if you want to have it outside of a chat, you are welcome to write me. When you write anything that is written in good faith, if you're writing me, even if we 100% disagree, you get mad, cuss, profane, I don't give a shit. That is, if it's in good faith that you wrote me, I do not leak messages like I never have. You can look at my track record. You know, people like BBB or Bruce, if they've written me and threatened me, yeah, 100%. I'll put their messages out there because they were written as threats. But somebody writes me in good faith, never burn sources. Ever. Never burn people with a good faith conversation, even if we disagree. And if you want to continue that afterwards, that's fine. But I would suggest, like, in a week, we'll go next Monday, if that works. When Megan gets back, we'll pull up everything. And we'll show you definitively why I think that's a bad idea. And again, your money's your money. I cannot ever tell you what to do with your money, my friend. You know, nor would I want to tell you what to do with your money. But these people, there's an army of really sketchy people that have taken a lot of money from a lot of people, and they've used it for who knows what. $18,000 left. That is their number. You're talking about, again, you yourself, $56,000. I've seen other people coming in with 3s, 10s. I mean, when you put it all together, easy minimum, easy. And I think I'm lowballing this heavily when I say it, but easy, I think 70,000 or much more. Where'd it go? Where did it all go? So what really kicks all this craziness off is Preston the other day. There's been a question about whether or not she has had her RV that was on her property repossessed. Now, I don't know definitively if that's true. There was discussion in the bankruptcy filings. Bankruptcy filing, make this clear too. A bankruptcy typically, that is not a problem in and of itself. These people raised money for it though. They said that they were going to use it for lawyers, for defense. I believe everyone is entitled to a defense in a case, regardless if I think they are wrong. I think they're garbage. They still, no matter who they are, I think that they're entitled to a defense. They raised $6,000, which is a lowball figure. And that was always meant for a bankruptcy lawyer. They lied to the people they took that from. You could tell about that too, because when they raised that, there's 2 giveaways in it. First of all, here, I'll show this. And so there's new eyeballs, and we'll get to everything that's new and happened yesterday too. But I want to make this clear too. These are the problems that are coming up with a lot of this stuff. Here is, give me a second. This is where they ask for money. Now, if you read this, you yourself would be like, hey, Florida Council for her? Yeah, Florida Council, that would be Fed 1, Fed 2, right? Or at least Fed 1. I was thinking $6,000 could have been a starter, but there's no way you would have gotten representation in 2. There's no way. $6,000 is dropping by. Anybody that's ever dealt with lawyers knows that's not even a good retainer, just to be honest, you know? Like, I've had to deal with lawyers a couple of times, and for maybe a small case, you know, nothing where I was in trouble or anything. By the way, you can look over my record. I've never had a problem like that. But for any kind of real retainer, man, I mean, you're talking $15,000 or more easily. A lot of times for cases like this, they might cut you a break at 10, but a lot of times a lawyer won't even take you on until you're about $25,000. But this, they were like, we can get one. There was something really weird about this, though. Okay. And it said, we have found Florida counsel to represent MP. She raised $6K to retain them. They also say we need $338 in court costs. Now, if you look up $338, if you look at where that money went, that is how much it costs to file bankruptcy. It is in the documentation for the bankruptcy. It is in all the documentation. Now, why is that important? Because they didn't tell people that this is what they're doing. And this is a delay tactic. This will not fix the trials. They decided they were going to do this from go. Now, if you actually look at the billing for this that came in with Bruce, with the payout, you remove that money. You remove that $338 there, right? That leaves you with the $6,000. That $6,000 came from BBB. It went to this guy right here, who is the bankruptcy guy. The date of transfer was 0602. So it was always the plan. They lied about it. Okay. That's this problem. You know, they've been bilking money out of people for all kinds of stuff. But regardless of what I think about money that's left over, what should or shouldn't happen with it, it is Lynette Preston's money. And the other day, she came out and she was asking for money for an RV. Now, one of the problems with this RV, first of all, I'm going to note is here. Let me pull up the statement where $18,000 comes in. This has also been said by the other side of this money. So the $18,000 has been a total that has come up, because when I saw this at first, again, the punctuation throws me off a lot here. So I couldn't by itself, I couldn't say that this meant there was only that much money left, you know, but you can see here, they're talking about how much things will cost. From what I've been told, there's approximately $18,000. So that's what she's saying right here in this little block. It's not broken up well, because the way she says it, if you look at it and you added punctuation, again, I'm not being a dick when I bring this up. I'm just saying, you know, this is how, when you take this, and again, the other side of this, they're saying there's 18. In fact, she's saying from what I've been told. So does she even know how much money's really there? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about their business arrangement or anything else. But what I do know here is when she goes over the costs, these costs are well beyond that. In fact, interestingly enough, even Ray today, he said that unfortunately it would take more donations to finish up the place. Now, if you go through, there's actually, there's screenshots. There's a really interesting series of screenshots back when the fence was made. Okay. There's a little block. Let me see if I picked that up. There are so many screenshots for today. So let me see if I've got this in here. All right. I can't remember if I do or not. There's a block of screenshots that somebody pulled up that showcases when the fence was originally pulled together. Now, when the fence was originally pulled up, they were talking about how much money had been garnered for it. They had, I actually don't have that in front of me. Okay, well, they had, I'll pull this for you, okay, later on. It's posted on the quote-unquote fan page. That's the best way I can put it there, too. But the screenshots are 100%. I've seen them before, saw them in the chat where they came from. But one chat alone showed $1,700 that had been raised for the fence. On top of all the Lowe's cards and everything else, that should have paid for that fence by itself. There is no way. But let's just say in some alternate world, $5,000 is what it cost. Okay. All right. Now, on top of that money, you had the Christmas thing. Now, the Christmas thing, again, it's not my money. If people are okay with the money being spent this way, that's their thing. But people gave Christmas presents. They gave super chats toward this. They even donated food and refreshments toward it. But still, in some weird world, let's just say, for the sake of argument, it also costs $5,000, right? There's $10,000 in cost. if we added another, let's say 3 for some wood. The wood they have out there, man, there is barely any wood out there. In fact, it would fit into that 10 grand. I'm being nice. Let's call it 15 though. Let's be real nice, okay? $15,000. They have a pile of wood, they have a kitchen island, and they have a toilet. That's it. That's everything. Okay. So if you have $18,000 and you have $15,000 and you started off with an easy, again, I feel like I'm lowballing heavily at $70,000, but let's just say $70,000. We're about $40,000 light in these calculations. Where is it? Where's that money? Now, I think as the money gets toward the bottom and LP is out there asking for money, and again, she came out the other day. She asked for $5,000. That's what the posts about the camper, that's where that came up. And again, whether I agree or not with what the money is for, it's her money. It was collected in her name. She's allowed to ask about it. So yesterday, everything kicks off. Everything starts to go a little crazy. Why? Because LP, she had posted, and she ends up through all of this going back and forth. We're gonna have a couple of posts. You know, we've had the camper thing. Then when some stuff came up about it, we had a public post from LP. But we also apparently had messages going back and forth. Now, actually, on Monday, we will probably have a Rumble exclusive too. That way, Megan, she loves bringing up the real clips of all of this and pulling it up from their words. I don't like going over the Rumble on my channel. So I think it'd be more fun with her and myself going through them. But I have transcribed these so we can talk about that. What we heard here, there was apparently, according to 2L, there was someone named Angela. Now, Angela wasn't the only person writing to them, but there was a letter written that said, quote, she, meaning LP, has gotten really obsessed about the money being made off her story. Her new lawyer has looked into how much everyone is making off of it, including you. They were talking about 2L. So they're looking into it. Now, between this and other items that have been written, 2L started talking about how they were planning on suing them, which again, I don't know if I take it that way, but that's why in titles I always put a question mark, explanation. I think she has every right to sue. I don't think she could win with it. Very much so, in fact. I don't even think she'd have to go that far. You know, what she needs to do is she needs to go online and there's the IC3 reports. In fact, only me, if you're there, if you truly, legitly believe these people have been scamming this money that was meant for this woman, I want you to understand this, okay? If you think this money is being misused and this is this woman's money, that was your money. You can fill out an IC3 report. That is a U.S. federal report. It is about internet scams. And that 100% would get proper authorities involved, and she would have to relinquish that money. She would. Right now, she doesn't figure, this is my thinking, she doesn't figure that LP on her own can get a lawyer to help her. She figures that she is helpless. So she's never going to be able to do that. So she's been saying things like, the money was given to me. Actually, I wrote notes on this considerable amount. So, and the amount of implied threats, by the way, they blew my mind. I mean, the implications, some of them are more, they're more implied than others. Some of them are overt threats. Some of them are like, I could say more, but I'm not going to. You know, she's telling people, you know, as I go along with this, I could say a lot more. I essentially, I know where all the proverbial bodies are buried. You know, I've been having conversations with, and she's apparently been having conversations with John Cook, by the way. A lot of them, it sounds like. Her and MP, apparently not so much. Apparently that's been a little strained there. But she responded to that letter, by the way, by saying, I'm not the reason HG is in a shed. But thanks for letting me know. MP is talking to any attorney about me. That changes everything. So, now, that's interesting because the tone shift, again, you either walk lockstep or else. You want to see what or else looks like, by the way? You want me to show you something, too? You want me to show you what or else looks like? So, or else looks like this. Her little mob of minions, they decided... Now, one of them took this down after I spotlighted this wonderful freaking thing because I want to show you what kind of stuff that they've been saying. They want their money back, but also they're talking about going and pulling out their fence posts that they donated, which is so, oh my gosh, man. So why did you delete all your old posts, Michelle? You're worse than Shara. By the way, Shara, again, you look at the villains from 2L. Whether all of you like or dislike each other makes no difference. Okay. There are many of you. Some of you are in chat. Some of you are just basic chatters. People who have, there was a name that came up. What was it? Pickles? Give me a second. Let me find you real quick, buddy. 1 minute. I misplaced your name. I'm sorry. But you were just a random dude that won a prize. I was like, wait, what? I mean, there's armies of you. So, Chuckles, that's it. My bad. Chuckles. Yeah, so she brought up a guy or a woman. I'm sorry, could be either. I said a guy, man, woman, I don't know. But they brought up a person. Chuckles had apparently commented, this is their excuse anyway, in the wrong live streams. So you won a prize. You were named, and you were specifically named. There was another lady that was named who won something, and they said they weren't grateful enough. It's like, what? So they called him out by name again. I'm not saying that you can't have shit that goes down. Like, I don't spend my time worrying on the chat. If I had to bring up something on it, I would not develop. It'd be like like Only Me, for example. If Only Me and I, say this relationship were him and I, and we'd had a problem, which we've never had a relationship there. So again, this is just hypothetical, but we were reversed in that. You know what would have happened? I might have had to address a couple of things, but I first would have made sure that Only Me could get a hold of me. My email never changes. My email is always up. And even if, now you could get sent to spam theoretically, so I might miss something that you would write. It happens sometimes, and I get flooded with emails. So I could miss an email that comes in, but I never block a person like that. I also have a Twitter, people can get a hold of me on, a Facebook, and I have an army of people to be like, yo, this person's trying to get a hold of you. It's a problem. Do it. So I would have never taken to multiple live streams and trashed a person. I would have never turned a whole army of people against them, especially if they had donated the kind of money they did. Because I would think it wouldn't be about the money. It would be about the intent. See, for me as an outsider, I saw the intent on that as trying to do good. Regardless, again, I can think you can be misguided in something. That doesn't matter, man. You can still be, you try to do good. That's okay, man. It's okay. But they spent a lot of time trashing, okay? There was Only Me. There was Miyagi, when all the stuff kicked off with Only Me, and there were problems there. Miyagi was their hero, right? Then they wanted Only Me to come back because they thought you'd pay for their lawyers. That's what they thought. They thought they were going to get you to pay for lawyers. So they threw Miyagi under the bus. And then that doesn't work out. Now there's two. There's Shara. I mean, we could go on with names, but you get my point. Like, these are main people that were added to something, and they were totally great and glorious until. Now, again, I'm not saying people don't have falling outs online either. But one of the things I try to do is I try not to ever tell you. I don't want to damage like channels or something. I try not to damage other channels. So, you know, I'm terrible about following up anyway with stuff. Sometimes I've had health stuff, but I don't ever want you to know I have a problem with somebody. I would not go out and call out people the way that they do. They, again, it was wild. Yeah. How that Ray stuff. Ray said that he won't back anything else from LP. He said, it'll take more donations, but I won't stick my neck out anymore. Also, I want to address this real quick too. Now, Ray brought up his wife. Now, I'm going to note, I agree with what he's saying here, but I want to add something to the end. Okay. He said that his wife had been sick. That's awful, by the way. I would not wish that on anyone. And he said, you know, she's an innocent party. She's caught flack. She shouldn't. Now, I would ask Ray, you brought up my kids and stuff, man. You kept bringing them up. Are they not innocent enough for you? Were you okay with that? Because you did. You kept doing that. You know, you talk about people like only me owing people apologies. I think maybe you should owe people apologies because now you feel what it's like. It's jacked up, man. It's jacked up. And again, nobody should be ditching on his wife or anything if she's sick. He also said he joined in with the George, she's not sick. Remember all that? He joined in with that. Now you see what it feels like. It ain't fun, man. You know, it's real life. It is. It's real life. So, but I agree. I mean, nobody should be dumping on his wife or anything. She didn't have anything to do with it. But now they're, you know, he's like, focus on me. Well, okay. But remember all the people you focused on. You said they were the Sodom and Gomorrah of YouTube. Everyone's the Antichrist. You wanted people following folks around with suns, attacking them. Now suddenly, though, when people don't walk lockstep with 2L, they're out. Just like Only Me. And the same thing. It was amazing. LP, out. Again, you can pick up that new video 8 minutes in. You just really, it's maybe a 750 in. Right in that area, but you can pick it up. Well, maybe we'll bring that up in the Rumble exclusive too. But it was dumping on her. It was dumping on Only Me, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? You know, are you kidding me?" Talking about again grace and while at the same time again insulting and Only Me's name keeps coming up. One of the things I may call him David the Donor. I've heard your name said plenty of times. What these people do when they do that, though, if people search your name, this is why they bring your name up over and over again. Only Me. They bring it up for SEO, search engine optimization. They are trying to make your name searchable with the negatives. If they tag in videos, enough of them, there are things with your name out there. Yes, of course, you know, but they're not enough of them. If they pile on and they put in new things with your name, it creates optimization where again your name gets attached to a negative. That I've seen them do that. That's why they brought in paint chips in his body because that is what they do. They do it to a lot of other people, but they're doing it to you too. It's nasty business, all for giving money. So you had this though. I'm sorry, I got way off topic here. Got that your worst that. I want the money back I donated for your lawyer pool. Now again, I think that actually is a fair assessment. I don't think that that's on LP either. I actually think it's on Bruce because Bruce didn't tell people what the money was for. And also on top of that, I mean, if we're talking about, first of all, if we are talking about the money for the bankruptcy, the Ohio money, Bruce could release it. In fact, if these people want their money back, push Bruce for it. You know, that Ohio thing. A lot of them are saying they don't want their money. They can be like, hey, Bruce, look, come off that money. I bet you they don't, though. Even though Marla was saying that they're going to give refunds, which I'll pull up in a few minutes too. I thought that was funny. Yeah, I don't think that'll happen. But that doesn't really have, I mean, I kind of wonder, again, LP is not blameless. All right, that's not what I'm trying to say in this. What I'm trying to say is that when these people raise money, you have 2L trying to push away, trying to say, I didn't do anything wrong. I just directed people to it. I didn't know that money was going to go for bankruptcy. Well, here's the problem. If you endorse something and you tell people to go give their money to it, you are part of it. I've learned that the hard way. Because over time, there have been people this is why I feel for folks like an Only Me. I've tried using my platform for people that I thought were in need. They brought up GoFundMes and stuff. And unfortunately, on the internet, you can't believe that many people. And I've had my fair share of people that have tried to scam off of that. And that's why I don't promote GoFundMes and stuff very often, unless I specifically know a person. And even then, I have to be very aware of what's going on. I'm very careful about that. It's not to be mean or rude. I know there are a lot of people out there in need. It's just, But the difference there is they knowingly are participating with these people. They knowingly have them on. They knowingly run in that ecosystem. So me believing that, I don't believe that at all. But I did not give that money to sue Lisa with. Now, again, you see this term coming up, sue. I put the term sue in the heading as well, because that's what 2L was saying. But you know what they did yesterday? They monetized the hell out of LP. They went in and they monetized her. I'm talking about, they went out and they called her, they basically put together the old alligator tears. Oh, I'm so sad. I put together that, and they finally make money. They can't make money any other way, but they made money off of that. They made hundreds and hundreds of dollars because they turned on LP, and their chat turned on LP too. They went 100%. They went the way of it. So LP, for bringing up having some kind of problem at all and questioning 2L, it tells you it was never about MP. And they said that, funny enough, they're now trying to go with it was always about HG. It not only that weird and creepy to me. You're not their guardian. Why are you? In fact, they were talking the other day about continuing the Christmas thing. You going to do that against the wishes of the person their minor child you're using? It's strange. Again, they're essentially telling me they said Michelle's lying. I'm not calling her a liar. But obviously she'd have to be lying. They're put in a weird quandary, because if she lies, then what else does she lie about? If she doesn't lie, then they lie. So where are they? They finally settled on, she's probably under a lot of stress. Well, that's not the way they address it again. Even Ray popped off with a video of, screw you, I'm done with you. But you owe me $40, and you owe Lisa thousands of dollars in money and hundreds of hours of her life lost to an ungrateful person. These mofos built that channel on your back like that. Like I said, I have no reason to lie to you. I personally think you're not a good person at all. I have some very strong opinions about you. But I do say this, they built a channel on your back. Their channel was nothing without you. They say that they got involved in this at first because of Guapo and Robbie. Fair enough. Again, I have not kept up with a lot of that drama, and that felt like Again, I don't know. I don't know the particulars of that. If it ends up in a lawsuit, then that's when I'll care. Okay. But that has never been part of a lawsuit. So I've not really cared about those particulars. But that didn't build a channel up for them. What built them a channel was directly getting involved, inserting themselves as the mouthpiece of that Preston, and inserting themselves with another person who inserted themselves, Bruce. By the way, since people from the ecosystem are listening, I'm sorry again for that wording. I don't know what else to call you. Should I call you the chatters of the ecosystem? Maybe that would be nicer. Again, like I said, those people I have a problem with because I feel like they conspired to ruin someone. You're just part of a chat. Unless you went out to try to ruin someone too, then that's pretty jacked up. But being part of a chat is not a crime. You can be part of any chat. But anyway, I digress. Actually, let me go forward with this, and then I'll bring up the point, okay? So you owe me the money, right? If you're going to turn on someone that quick after all that they've done for you, then you never deserved that help that you got to begin with. Huh. So again, like I was saying, building up with Bruce. You know, Bruce, I don't know how to make this any clearer to folks. People think that he's a free lawyer. He's pro bono. You have seen his contract, right? You folks out there, he had a contract with Scott Stark. You know, the guy that was part of the thumbnail litigation and what we have referred to as the Trespass 5, those two lawsuits. Bruce is not a free or a pro bono lawyer. He works off what's called a contingency. That means if we win, we get paid on the back end of it. So he's working for a purpose, for money. He is not working for free. He's working for a payday. In fact, I believe in the federal case, he bailed because he was having to put in a lot of time and he wasn't going to win, and he knew it. After they got to a certain point, he put, now I'm going to make this clear. I believe that Michelle Preston and John Cook are guilty. I very much do. But I believe a good lawyer could have done a lot for them. For example, I believe with the request for production, you know, all the evidence they requested for a level 1 first year, you know, an entry level lawyer would have been able to get some of that stuff knocked down. That's what Randy did. Nothing wrong in the way he approached it. That's the way they always do. They throw everything at the wall. They see what sticks. You know, they try to get you to have to come off of everything, and you narrow it down. You focus and tailor it. Well, Bruce, he just put in boilerplate. No, he basically said the same thing over and over again. The judge said, you know, you can't do that. If you do that, it's like you never said anything at all. You know, you can't just say the exact same copy paste crap every time. Did harm there. Did harm with a lot of the motions and stuff. Did harm with the attitude and the attacking. I mean, he did more harm than good, for sure. And he didn't do it for free. He did the damage for free, but he thought he'd get a payday on the end. Also, the other lawsuits that he took them into. You know, they didn't. I saw the text. If you have not checked these out, by the way, folks, if you don't know, because I know you don't see these on these other channels, Shara is the reason they want you to not like Shara is because she had conversations with them, and you see them. And part of her conversations, you got to see receipts. Those receipts, they showcase. They thought they were going to get paid on the back end. They show strategy. I hate to call it strategy, but it is how they thought they were going to get a payday off of them. So, thumbnail lawsuit. Oh, that's 100% a device from Bruce. And they planned on going forward with it even if people did what they asked for. Like Larry, the DUI guy. Like or dislike. Larry's a good guy, by the way. But if you don't like Larry for some odd reason, Larry wasn't even covering this anymore. They asked Larry to take his thumbnails down, which you're 100% allowed to use thumbnails. You can use whatever as long as it's part of that. But he changed them. he camouflaged them, which, when you obfuscate the image, that's what they wanted. They said to change them up. He made them not identifiable. They planned on going after him anyway. Well, they waited too long. Now she's looking at sanctions. They keep kicking down the road. She's being sued over the Trespass 5, where she cost the Grangers over $50,000. That is Bruce's and Scott Stark. It's really Bruce's doing, because Scott Stark's just a puppet. But the reason I mention that is because when you talk about money and stuff, these thousands of dollars, where do you think some of that money went? What plan did it back? I'm not saying he filled his pockets with it. What I'm saying is it went with a strategy in a federal case that I believe that Jeremy Hales had a strong enough case that for defamation, he would have gone forward with. Tortious interference, a difficult one. And the whole idea of, for RICO, I've never seen a RICO conspiracy go forward like the way that one is addressed. So, to be honest, I didn't think you would be able to get the entire case for it. It's a difficult one, but he had enough evidence. Yeah, but Bruce didn't do any favors whatsoever. So where do you think that money went? But said, I will be waiting your video today. You certainly have a lot of explaining to do. If you notice a panel of your fence missing, just know I came and took back the panel I purchased. Huh. Now, is that a threat? It reads like one, right? So because she wanted to know about her money, she is now being told by people that I'm going to come to your freaking home and I'm going to steal part of that fence that's out there. Huh. That's pretty fucking fair weather, don't you say? One of the things that you don't hear a lot of people saying is, I'm going to come and tear down your fence, rip it apart, like or dislike you. A couple of words from 2L, and that's where this went. Because I want that back too, it says. Harley can keep the toys, books, and clothes I bought for her. So, they brought up the kid there. And you notice, I mean, the implication here is also, again, I take that as implied threat. Well, I might have snatched those off too. What? What now? Now, they took this lovely statement down because it got a lot of blowback. And of course it should have. Now, what's the blowback? Where is this from, by the way? Let's pull this up. So after everything kicks off, you have last night, Preston. She will ghost this, by the way. She always ghosts every statement, but she should have the backbone. I don't think she'll stand up, honestly. I think she'll back down. Give me 1 second. I'm going to blow this up, make it a little more legible, okay? I actually don't think that she will stand up to these people. They've already said that she's garbage, essentially. They're going to grift off of her name more, But this is the problem. I've told you. They would turn on each other eventually. They will eat each other. She tried to, by the way, blame all of this stuff on a few people out there. She tried to blame it on Hales. Only me. She tried to blame this on only me. This woman was looking for Only Me's contact information the other day, saying that she hasn't had contact with him. That's the way I took that. I mean, he can confirm this, but that's the way I took it. Like, she's never had confirmation, but somehow in some way, Only Me was to blame. I was like, what the what now? How is Only Me to blame for this? Me, somehow in some way, because I said that she does have the right to sue, and she does. That is her money. You can't say again, if I raise, I brought this up a few times, but just in case, I don't know who's listening. There was a highly public lawsuit where these, I hate this word, but I will use it anyway, influencers. I can't remember what platform. I think they were YouTubers, but I'll say influencer instead of YouTuber. But these influencers, they went out, they found a homeless guy. This homeless guy told them a horrific story, man. It was sad. It really was. And you know what? It caught fire. When it did, people gave a lot of money. They gave hundreds of thousands of dollars. And after that, a few months down the road, you actually had arrests of the two quote unquote influencers. And you had lawsuits, which they lost. Now, why were they arrested and why were they sued and lost? Well, because they decided to say the same thing. They had collected money because they thought this guy, we were going to use it to get him a home. They were also taking some of the money too. But they were going to use it to get him a home and to make better decisions for him because he obviously couldn't make good decisions. As she said, this goes back to what 2L said last night. Quote, I'm not the reason that HG is in a shed. Okay. So, with that thinking, she is going to buy a home or whatever. Again, even if the 18K is legit, but she's acting like she's their guardian. She doesn't have any legal authority whatsoever to say what that money will be used for. She, again, could have taken it for the stated purpose of building a home. Well, they didn't do that. And now if LP is like, yo, it's been too much time, I want my money. And she can use it for whatever. If she wanted to sit out in their front yard and burn it, actually, that's it. You can't burn money, but you get my drift. If she wanted to glue it to the back of turtles and set them all free and let them run around and let people find $100 bills, that's her damn money. She can't. Again, I'm not endorsing her getting the money. I think she would make very bad decisions with the money, but it's her money. Well, they got out and trashed her, and she posts this. She posts, I'll be doing a video tomorrow, which is not coming unless it's coming out. I have no, wasn't the RV a scam? It had a lot of the hallmarks of a scam. Jeremy Hale said, yes, I did not research it. Okay. Just to note, I did not research the RV there. There were a couple of big red flags. Here's a glaring red flag though. All right. You want a really big one? Person wants $30,000. You contact them, you offer $5,000 down and you're going to buy it for $15,000. Somebody that's willing to just say, boom, I'm going to knock half price off. I mean, that's not typical. That does not mean that it's a scam, but along with other warning signs that would definitely make me question. Now, again, I'm not saying it's a scam, but it definitely had all the hallmarks of something that would be very questionable, so it could have been. Regardless of it, though, there are other RVs out there. If they are not living, by the way, like Only Me brought this up too. He said, and he's bringing it up again. I think out of the trying to do some good here, right? But he said that people should help get them an RV. Well, you know what, man? That money right there, there's not enough money left to fix the home. So if they wanted to get an RV with it, there is enough money to get them a used RV. I saw a few of them online that with 18K, that they would definitely have to budget right. To be honest, though, here's one of the problems. They live outside of their means anyway, well beyond it. What I mean by this, again, this is their business, but just saying, if you throw money at this problem anyway, they have a 2020 Jeep Gladiator. They put up the prices of it. Lynette Preston makes sort of $900 and something a month in Social Security. Crap money, right? Well, her vehicle costs $730 a month, plus she has to pay insurance with $125 a month, plus gas. She's paying more for that one vehicle than she's making in her entire month. Now, that is living well without outside your means. Now, why do I bring that up? Because sooner or later, she's going to lose her property. She would have lost it to begin with if she would have been able to keep it for a little while with taxes. They won't really hit you with the taxes for a minute. They'll give you a little bit of time, but she would eventually have lost that. 2L apparently did pay that. God, she will not let them forget either. That's the thing. She will never let them forget. But she posted, I'll be doing a video tomorrow, which I haven't seen come up. I will answer the outrageous, horrible lies that were told about me tonight on the 2L pod. So watch for it. My heart is breaking over all this garbage. I will never trust another human being in my life. There you are, by the way. David. Like I said, David, the one thing with your last name being out there, I would advise you to call yourself like David R or something, you know, because again, they're creating a search engine optimization. You may not care, but you may change your mind down the road. When people look up your name and they associate your name with horrible things, with lies and shit, you know, and you may have an ocean of money to stop it, you know, as far as them talking about you. You may well have that, but getting it changed out of the internet is not as easy, you know. That stuff, some of the places that pick it up, there's no one to contact on it anymore. It becomes hard to scrub all of that stuff out, even with money, man. So just noting, I know your name's been that for a while, but even changing it to, I actually like Donor David. I thought that word, David the Donor, man. That is that implication of what you did with that actually works out. So, you know, if you want to use them, I think, who cares? Oh, you may one day, man. You may, you know. Like I said, your reputation, you care about your reputation when people call you a fraud or, you know, a liar. You care about that. Well, they're tarring your name with that where everybody in the world sees it. And it may pop up. One day, you never know what'll come up down the road. You may not want that associated with your name. I'm just saying. I mean, that's up to you, brother. You know. But you see the comment there. Actually, yeah, that's something about Tom. Okay. Stand in your truth. I would agree, actually. Get your YouTube channel going. You know. For one, I would. But to hear your story, I see the coward that posted the threat. This is about that one post I pulled up there. Deleted our comment. LP, if anyone threatens you or your property, take a screenshot, report to law enforcement. Yeah, and if they're threatening straight up to come to your house, that's crazy, though. They're the people, though, that she let into her surveillance. Again, I imagine we will see in the next day or so, we'll see an attempt to smooth all of this over and gloss and pretend it never happened. But we have screenshots, and it's wild. You know, I'm just going through the post here. I don't believe for 1 second you'll be posting video as you stated. You stated you're going to be putting up a video and then delete everything. Why is it that? That's actually the true Elizabeth there. It's your money. You're responsible enough to spend it yourself. Well, it doesn't matter if she doesn't have a guardian. You know, I would say Kanye West. We would all agree that Kanye West has a screw loose, right? Would we not? I mean, most of us anyway would say Kanye is very detrimental to himself. Guess what, though? Kanye gets to make big person decisions because Kanye controls his own life. Whether he makes responsible or irresponsible decisions, that is beyond the point. No one questions that guy gets to use money that is in his name, that's owned to him. Again, he makes some of the most irresponsible decisions because I believe that Kanye is mentally ill. I actually believe that Kanye might need somebody to help him out. But that's not on me. It's the same thing. It's her money. These people act like they have some kind of guardianship, you know? How long did you think all of this would last? That's true, too. Like, when did you think? I'm like I said, one of the things that makes me question is at what point did you think things would just continue to go smoothly? See, what you've seen is you saw a lot of money given at one time. About, 6 months ago? Easily. Actually, longer than that. But you saw, I guess, going by the timeline, like Only Me's timeline, it was around November, well, really October, November, December, right? There was a lot of money dropped in. But we are now stepping into July. We are not seeing money coming in the way it was before because there have been a lot of questions. It's not just an Only Me. There were people, again, Miyagi. Miyagi gave around $1,000 for something. There were other people in comments the other day that were like, yo, I gave $3,000 for this. And so, I mean, you have high dollar visible people that are visibly upset by all of this. And again, with good reason, you know. I've been asked to dance for what's up with that? I know you don't want to hear this, but no one was against you, but now they may be. Now they may be. You better fix it. So this is like this here. We're told over and over again when it comes to all this stuff that none of us have any business knowing any of the details out there. And yet, with this particular thing, they are willing to go scorched earth on this lady. Isn't that interesting? Isn't it fascinating? Oh, it blows my mind sometimes, man. Angel, yeah, well, only me is allowed to believe in LP. Like here's the thing, man. Pieces at a time. At the end of the day, if he does or doesn't believe her, it's okay. I'll show him again. Monday, we will get to not just the Jeremy stuff. This stuff started before Jeremy Hale's. Well before. Northport lays a foundation. And other people in there. When you see psychological reports where you have a kid being used as a dollar sign, maybe that'll change something. You know, I'm not talking about this one, but that'll be Monday. Again, you know, tune in. Again, I would throw it all up here and do it tomorrow, but I'm afraid that, you know, with everything, with medical issues, like I said, I've been getting better with it, but I still get some of that brain fog. Like the earlier, you saw where I had to come back to the Bruce thing. It's because I forgot what I was talking about for a second. Just in reality, that happens sometimes. It just totally, it blank. It's gotten better with new medication, but with, I think with myself and Megan on that, we'll make sure that, you know, nothing gets left out, because putting it from A to Z, I think that'll be. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You know, the ultimate thing is that I believe that when they're looking at that he knows that there's a problem that is going on somewhere in this chain of custody. So, and again, I agree, it's her money. Like I'm not trying to be an ass or be like, ha ha ha, look at the ecosystem. I'm serious. This is her money. You know, it's 100% her money. So with this, I think she's 100% right in this case. It's not because of who's turning on whom either, you know. It's just because at the end of the day, again, you know, anything you say will be used in a bad way by Jeremy and the minions. Anything you throw out online, people will talk about, of course. But, you know, it's fascinating that, like, don't give ammo. He wants to destroy you both. I think 2L has done more than enough to destroy herself there. Awaiting your video with bated breath. Certainly have a lot of explaining to do. Even more apologies to make. So does Jeremy. Even more apologies to make. So does Jeremy. What? Okay. Well, that's interesting, though. Don't bite the hand that feeds you, Michelle. Here's the thing. Don't step out of line, Michelle, or else. And make it clear. Just in these comments, you know. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. I love being compared to a dog, by the way. You know, 2L and her followers have invested hundreds of hours of work to support you, John HG. Jeremy Hales would love to end your friendship. Jeremy Hales isn't the reason that's ending. I'm telling you. What the problem is you see dwindling numbers and there's nothing happening. That money, again, memorials, all this other shit, nothing happens. I mean, the fence, what the heck does that? All that did was allow deeper pockets to get to get reached into. As I'm saying, I saw somebody. So one of the screenshots I took was somebody saying, "Oh man, how are these people questioning this $20,000 fence? In what glue sniffing world is that a $20,000 fence?" I mean, are you kidding me? Again, like I was saying, though, if I deliver something, if I say, "Hey, I'm going to provide a fence," and you gave me $25,000, and I gave you a $2,000 fence, did I actually deliver? And that's the good question, you know? Did I deliver on what I promised, you know? God, it's fascinating, you know? Oh, wait till we get to some of the some of the statements. She made bank off of them last night. Hundreds and hundreds of dollars. It was amazing. What it tells me is it's no longer about Lynette Preston or John Cook. Now that she can play the victim off of it, she'll do that for a few minutes. Then she'll probably get Lynette Preston back in line. Lynette will look at this stuff, see that she's not going to be giving all the money there, and she'll back down. She'll say it was just all a misunderstanding, something, you know. I don't know how much blame she'll take, but they'll all be buddy again. But we've seen this happen. This is the third or fourth time that this has happened recently, you know, where we also, weirdly enough, so she was talking last night about her mods, and she stated that that she had been deleting anything. She had her mods deleting MP's messages in the chat about the case and about other things. Apparently, she had told her mods that that's what they need to do there. So not only is she telling you, hey, this evidence needs to go bye-bye, which is, But on top of that, LP is like I guess a child. She can't make decisions on her own anymore, you know? Let's look at a few of these statements here. She said, quote, about the pool money. We were trying to do a pool for the Ohio lawyers. This is about them. It wasn't even 5 minutes after a very large donation came in that Lynette Preston went and did something wrong. So, Lynette, it's your fault that you have to stay in line or else you ain't going to get no money. It's amazing. How is that about justice? Like riddle me this. If people actually believe that this is about justice and they believe that LP is there and they were backing before, but then there's some kind of falling out between these two people, what has changed? What has changed? When they brought up the other the other pool, though, she was like, well, I don't know about that. I'm not sure. What I was told is that she was getting a lawyer, that she had a where is it? I didn't create that pool. I just told you where to go. That's it. And then she was asked, so you're saying that the $6,000 only paid for a bankruptcy lawyer? And she did say on that, though, that's what I was told he wants, but I don't remember what was listed, but I didn't do it. You see the backing away. It was all, we're going to own Jeremy Hales with this brand new move, bringing in. They even, remember how they pushed the bankruptcy thing? By the way, there was a filing on that today too. We'll see if we get to that. If not, it's not a huge filing. We have plenty of time this week. I will be on my channel all week. I think it will be a crazy week there, but it was a pretty basic one. You know, you have Randy, he agreed with the stay, but he did note in the footnotes that they said that they were going to get a federal lawyer. And you think about this too, folks. This is a problem. They were giving a stay to get a lawyer in the federal case. After the time was up for it, they came back to the judge and said, hey, we're working out the paperwork. And they told all of their donors that too. All right. Well, they were doing that after they had raised the money and they had already paid a bankruptcy lawyer. See, right when that money was paid out, that was given to a bankruptcy lawyer. That was the plan from go. But they lied to the court. They lied to the donors. It's wild stuff. I mean, it's wild. And it doesn't fix anything. It won't get her out of liability. You watch. Anybody out there that's ever dealt with a lawyer knows that that doesn't fix anything. That does not. So the lie on that is just crazy. Now, who lied to you on that? Well, I'm going to say they all knew about it. They fundraised while lying, like again, about the house or anything else. One second, I get clear my throat. You know, they're misleading people when they get money together. If they pick up money, like I said, if I picked up $6,000 and told you, I'm getting this I finally found a lawyer to represent me. Let me think about this. Okay. If I told you, let me see, give me a second. I want to quote this correctly. Okay. I don't want to misquote it all. Because you tell me. If I was like, oh man, Florida counsel for myself, it's finally been found. We have found Florida counsel to represent me. I got to find $6,000 for that. The sooner the funds are in, the sooner these people coming after me could be stopped in court. Also, I need about $400 for court costs. Now, when I say that, you wouldn't think I'd be talking about filing bankruptcy, would you? You wouldn't think that's my go-to strategy. But that was, and they all bragged about it afterwards. Aha, Jeremy's owned. We got him. And then no. But she's also being told to stay silent. You know, I know it's very difficult, if not impossible thing to do, but take a deep breath, step back from social media for a bit and try to relax. Don't air all this online. It is rumors. Actually, the thing that it's spawning from, I believe, is the fact that there's $18,000 left. She said it again. She's been told that. Another person has said that. That's where it's coming from. Because she's like, yo, I need a place to live. If $18,000, it's not enough to finish the house. Again, even Ray has said that today. It's not enough. So why the fuck isn't she giving the money? What are they going to do with the rest of the money? They said they're not going to put together anything else. They're not going to get donations anymore. So what happens to the rest of the money? Whose is it? I mean, obviously the question is, it's Michelle's. It's her money. But what is their plan for that money is what I'm saying. What do they think it's supposed to go for? Is that picture? Oh, yeah. There we go. So here is a cost thing, by the way. You remember I told you about the fence cost thing? Let me pull this up. Somebody broke that down for me. Give me 1 second. I'll pull it up real quick. I wanted to show you, and I didn't have it in front of me. So this is what I mean about the money and the donations and how they look kind of sketchy. It's like, you need a real accounting of money. Okay, fence, right? So they said, mathing, all right, their project, 50 panels, $50, we'll call it $2,500, 52 posts at $1,168. You know, that's what here's a Travis, what he actually paid. But if you look at all the money here and everything else, right? What she noted should have cost around $3,300, right? Well, she had minimum over that in gift cards already. They had put up items about how they were pulling that together. they pulled up, you know, how many had been bought. So you can actually see how many have been pulled up. Like, here's where they mess up. All right. If you're wondering, how do we know numbers? It's because when you went in and they set a number, like we need 50, how many have been raised? Unlike a lot of other sites, Lowe's actually let you know how many came in. So you can see has, needs. All right. So how many have come out? Has, needs. So you can see right here, there's $3,750 in gift cards that are listed off their own list. Also here, they pulled up a screenshot where they're talking about money that was brought in. This money right here, $1,700 right there, just in those numbers that are showing up alone. You know, you have discussions about it too. And again, the mathing, it ain't mathing. Now, the numbers kept changing, but like I said, these numbers you're being fed. Now, why does it all matter? Because again, if I deliver something to you and I say that I'm going to deliver it at a certain cost, and I deliver it, but I don't tell you how much it costs or anything else, what does that mean? We also had Marla, funny enough. This is funny. I'm going to pull this up real quick before I lose it. This is so good. Check this out. Somebody was asking about the money. First of all, there was deflection, but then Marla, what's going to happen with the money? You know, she was asked, hey, where's the money? It's going back to the donors, I think. It's going back to the donors. Some is in lumber. That's in the barn. So outside of the lumber, a toilet and an island, the money's going to go back, huh? Okay. All right. Again, it'd be so easy. Yeah, the thing is, if they transfer it, here's another problem. If they transfer it over to LP, she will have an exact amount on there, you know? And they keep telling us there's no scam in this. But again, there is no clarity to how much money was raised. There is no clarity on how much was necessary. The reason I brought this up months ago is because I knew we would run across something like this. When at first, when all the big money came in, that was enough to complete the project. Very much so. And then some. And it should have been. Even from their totals. When you go through LP's totals, it should be more than enough to cover it. You know, you had, like I said, the major donor plus, and you had enough money to put out a real fence. Not that one slab across the front, but a real fence. You know, treat the property nice. And as I kept saying, look, I can give, I'm not even joking with this. She could go out, fire up her own channel. She would need 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 hours watch time. She could already be there and then some on her own thing. And she would have controlled her own money from go. She could have set it up under her own donations. She would have controlled it from go. She also, on her property, she could have done weddings. I'm telling you. I've joked about it, but at the same time, I'm not. She could be the Otter Creek version of like the Vegas Elvis, the Otter Creek Elvis. Bam! Marriage. You know, with all this, with her name out there, she had all these people backing it. She also, I mean, she could capitalize on not liking Jeremy Hales without, you can say a lot about a person that is not a statement of fact, you know, like calling them a PDF file or something. You could say a lot. So she could make her own money, and she could have made a lot. She still could, you know, and she would know how much this money is. Anyway, let's continue forward. So, oh man, let's get into some of these posts. There were a bunch of them, man. Give me a second here. Lord, there are a bunch of them. This kicks off last night. It was funny. They started trying to blame Shara too. I thought that was amazing. You know, they started trying to blame Shara. So let's see. In 1 minute, I'm setting it up. I'm just going to flip through some random screenshots here. There's a bunch of, it's funny too. They've been trying to tell their idiots on their channel that somehow in some way their comments in the chat are copyrighted. In fact, they've been talking about copywriting basic words like flea. They obviously don't know what trademark or copyright law means. You know, or what terms of service is, or what fair use. They also said, weirdly enough, that you couldn't, unless you said beforehand that it was fair use. Fair use is a defense. Fair use is not a disclaimer. You don't have to say fair use at the beginning of something. Fair use applies. It doesn't have to have a fucking disclaimer. These people are so dumb, man. It hurts my brain. But they were saying things like, look, like right off the bat, look at that. Here, right off from go, there's one on the Only Me. The questions wanting Only Me's info was a red light for me. A red light. I think you go with a red flag. I realize it is the same thing, but it's not really a red light. Yeah. Red flag means caution, you know, cautionary tale, or a yellow light. Red light means stop. You know what I mean? So not what you're going for. But yeah, I think that she just wanted to reach out to the guy that had donated that amount of money and have, again, for her own relationship. It didn't even matter if it's a red flag. She has the right to reach out to this dude. I mean, shit. Even if it's for some nefarious purpose, she'd have the right. To say that she doesn't is crazy to me, you know? But she did post about wanting to reach out. It wasn't some crazy thing, but they've turned it into it. And then they're like, oh, Lisa, if there's any money left over. Any money left over? Well, like from what? I mean, they all tell us to listen to all these folks. Again, Ray himself today told you there's not enough money. They can't finish it. Or they're going to build a skeleton of a barn. They've also left all this material, like much of it is weathered and stuff. I mean, it's wild there. But maybe just turn it into Lowe's gift cards. Turn them over to her, cut your ties out, wash your hands. Ugh. Wash your hands of her, man. She's the devil. Got to get rid of her. Yeah. What's John have to say about it? Yeah. You know, what's John have to say? So the John thing came up. The reason this clip mattered was because she was saying that she had been in communication with John. Let me read some of my notes here. So off of that, I called it the cricket stream, by the way. If any of you listened to that god awful thing, kudos to you. It was hours long. And even in the clips I got, there was this cricket that was right there. I thought, my God, I'm going to rip out my ears. This is terrible to listen to. You know, I was like, I cannot stand that. I called it but you see the money being brought in as well. Now, people aren't telling her, hey, you know, this should have been listed as a bankruptcy lawyer. You guys shouldn't have lied. Which they did, but, you know, they're also saying, hey, you know, as far as the amount of money there is concerned, and they did turn over $6,000. It is the receipt there. So it is not questionable. You can see it turned over to that one person, but they're like, yeah, you know, the charge there is pretty insane. $6,000 is a lot, by the way. It seems to me like it would be, especially with what they're getting. Right now, the judge is saying, if you don't provide more, we're going to kick this. So this person, you would think $6,000 would be at the upper echelon. No. They kept talking about feeding people to gators, dude. Apparently now they're going to feed them to the gators. She's money driven. And now giving old Jeremy more content. He's made hundreds of thousands off you, Michelle. And you're mad because Lisa gets a freaking super chat? You're jealous? You're insane. It wasn't about super chats, by the way. That's not what kicked it off. What kicked it off again? I'm telling you, it's about her having to panhandle for money for a place to live when there's the RV there and she has $18,000. She's like, yo, the house for whatever. Again, I can't tell you why that there's only amount. Again, did we know for real that money exists? I don't know. I have no idea. $18,000 is just a number she quotes. She was told. She said, "I was told." So, but she had noted through there, with the super chat. She said, MP is, quote unquote, having a lawyer look into her. She said multiple people had noted that, not just one. Now, MP denied that and said that wasn't true. That's what really gets your fire started, right? And when that happens, 2L doubles down and triples and quadruples and more. 2L, in fact, is calling MP a liar, while saying, of course, she's totally not a liar. And she's not a liar, but she is a liar, And of course, everyone else is to blame. Like I said, it's everyone. It's everyone, Jeremy, me, the people on Facebook, people they don't like, only me, whomever. It's everyone but them. It was amazing to listen to. I'm reading my notes here. She does have she said that she does have a lawyer looking into 2L. As far as the bankruptcy thing, I think that might make sense, because that money, by the way, if it was donated in her name, you're withholding money. That is her income. I think what this is a statement that when you read into it, it's a little bit bigger than they want to let on, because that statement says withholding that money probably isn't good. Let's keep looking. Michelle, stop being greedy. I wish I had someone who was helping me to get the main important things I needed without my getting in more trouble. Well, the difference is there, man, that you're not monetizable. They're not doing it out of the kindness of their heart. They're doing it because they get paid. And they keep saying, oh, these people have dedicated hundreds and thousands of hours. And they don't research. They don't do shit. What do? They get other people's money and get into a surveillance video and stuff. Stalk the guy driving out of his driveway. Oh my God, man. That is, by the way, if anyone has ever had a protective order, like I said again, if you don't understand what indirect third-party contact is, that is the epitome of it. These people, they were saying, so last night she said something really interesting too. She said that a lot of stuff was being done for Michelle that she had no idea of. She doesn't even know everything that's going on. Now, it made me wonder, what exactly are they doing? Because some of the stuff they're doing publicly, these are things that if they keep it up, I mean, that's the way you put somebody in jail. Third-party indirect contact will get a person in trouble. How far could they go? But as my lawyer, I decided not to allow Fleabag to look over her money. Oh, no. Trust you on that one. Okay. As long as my lawyer says so. Let's see. She can talk to whoever she wants. She's apparently been talking to a lot of people. They tell her just to talk to them, but she's apparently talking to other people outside of that. Isn't that fascinating? We can't control her. We can't control her. Just because a lawyer assisted with a ban does not mean full amount has been used. Yes, it does, a granny there. It 100% means that they used all the money. They paid that lawyer $6,000. There's a receipt for it. They don't give refunds, lady. So there will not be any money. And anyone's business it was, if you take money and you say, was Bernie Madoff, again, they're not parallels, but let's just say someone like a Bernie Madoff, I'm bringing them up because people mostly know who that is. Ponzi schemers. If you weren't directly impacted by that, is it any of your business? I mean, how do you get anything done? You know, the guy who exposed that, I've said this before, but the guy who exposed it, he wasn't a victim. He wasn't law enforcement. He was actually a competitor. And he said the reason that you knew it was a scam is because it sounded too good to be true. Huh. So if you think something's scammy, you don't have to be connected to it to point it out. But we kept getting the "I'm over it, I'm done." And that's funny because they were trying to trend hashtag "I'm done" the other day with only me as well. It came from one of her quotes in that live stream, that mod live. I can't remember who that mod is, but there was her "I'm done," that statement. Well, they were trying to hashtag "I'm done." They got the whole chat in on it. So apparently they're doing that to LP too. Fascinating how in a week saying, "Oh man, you posted these bad things 2 weeks ago." So that stuff that was posted a couple of weeks ago that they totally didn't have a problem with. Oh, they did. Right. What's up with you and Robbie, by the way? Michelle is lonely and wants to vent. She needs to go to Jesus, not social media. Here's my favorite. Read this with me. Does she not realize without you, she wouldn't have an effing $20,000 fence? Are you kidding me? Big C, I swear to God. Have you seen that thing? It's one strip of fence. One strip. Where the hell do you think is $20,000? These people, man. These people. $20,000 fence. What do they think it costs per pole? Lord God. $20,000 fence. Yes, indeed, only me. Bernie Madoff. A scam is a scam is a scam. These people, until you prove otherwise, they fucking scammed all of you. If there is only $18,000 left, you all got ripped off and they screwed you all. They lied to you. And a scam is a scam is a scam. They told you. Again, 70 grand, man. I mean, what more do you need to see? Like, what do you have to see to be like, yo, this is bad? Like, to truly audit this, you would have to look, again, the fence by itself, 100%, you can prove that money, it was paid for already. It didn't even come out of this money. The other money, the wood. I mean, what do you think that little pile of wood costs? We've seen it. They bragged about it. It's all that was there. I mean, and on top of it, you have things like, again, a dog, electric scooters, things that are coming in that apparently not, when I bring this up, you even have them, ecosystem folks, like people with the microphones being like, she's spending money on dogs. Big money on dogs. Where's that coming from? It's wild, man. 18 grand, what do you need? Like I said, a scam is a scam, man. It doesn't matter if it's some penny ante fucking Ponzi schemer or if it's Bernie Madoff. It is a scam. And people got took, dude. It blows my mind. What's it take to call it a scam, man? Again, it had every hallmark of a scam. There is no total set for what you need. When you run a crowdfunder, when you're taking donations, you have an idea of what you need. These people, again, when they got big donations, they're like, oh, that's covering everything. Now it's a drop in the bucket, and it covers nothing. And it won't turn it over. They won't talk about it to anyone. They say it's nobody's business. Oh my God. It's crazy. It is a scam and a half, man. I mean, again, they could have been very open. But, and you know what? The records around some of these people that are around there, they should really worry folks. When you're bringing in folks like, again, I saw you had a problem with paint chips as well. Luthman. 4 fucking years in federal prison. Why? Because of extortion. Because of strong-armed fraud. They took a disabled guy and they made him the face of a worldwide scam to try to blow his life up. There are other scammers in the bunch too. When you start recruiting actively people like that, that's a problem. When they're also asking for money for those people too. These people also don't stick around unless they get paid. Where's their payday coming from? Because they sure as hell ain't eating on YouTube. You know, I mean, but yeah, I mean, some of these people are so blown out of the water. They'll excuse anything. They think there's a $20,000 fence out there. They think that the Christmas that was paid for by donors. It wasn't paid for by 2L and the gang. It was paid for by the fucking donors out there. They donated quite a bit of money. They had their Streamlabs running open 24/7, it felt like. I mean, every stream, it was donate for Christmas. And the point in that isn't to say they couldn't do it. It's that people paid for it. They put in some real coin, but now it's become this talking point of how they somehow paid for it along with their $20,000 fence. It blows my mind. It makes me crazy when I think about it, because it's like people are living in some alternate world, you know. It is something else. Taxes would not have gotten paid like they did, and then she lost her home. What is she thinking? Yeah, that's true though. But again, she had money. If I'm not mistaken, there was a statement about reimbursal. Was there not? About reimbursing herself for the taxes? I remember that being brought up at the beginning. If I'm incorrect in that, you let me know. But I'm pretty sure that there was a reimbursement statement. So it wasn't out of the kindness of the heart. It's also, I mean, if she goes and has no more place or anything else, how do you make content off of Jeremy Hale's pulling out of his driveway? Shit. Oh, let's see. Also last night, I'm still doing what I said I was going to do because I said I was going to do it. This is the excuse of using the money the way I'm going to use it. I'm only going to use it that way. I'm guided by the people that are not her friend. Rather, she's being guided by the people that are not her friends. But me, I told people what I was going to do and deliver on. I said I was going to do something. So that's what I'm going to do. Not give her the money again. You know, where's the house or anything? It's not there. She also went with, after that, I could say much more, but I'm not going to. Again, the way that was brought up to, it felt like as she was going along, it's like, you remember what I know about you. Remember they did the same thing with Shara. They're like, we have an iPad full of things about you, Shara. We have an iPad full of them. But it is funny. She was like, yeah, enjoy that, Megan and Tug. And it was so funny. I was like, did we do this? I don't remember causing this. You know, I didn't have anything to do with it. I don't have any of the money there. Man, they could bring it in the middle of, right? They were bringing up, by the way, this is what I said. They were trying to blame. You can see where I was watching this too, you know, at the time. So this was actually my post on Facebook. And I said, and I still say this, you know, Lynette Preston owns $18K. I say it's still there if it exists. In fact, she can sue for not giving her the funds. And if they kept the kind of books I imagine, yeah, she can legally go with them and may for the entire amount not accounted for. Wouldn't that be something? Last night, they said they would not give her money for the RV. That's how this all kicked off, in my opinion. You know, like I said, she posted about an RV. When this was brought up to 2L, she was asking for $5,000. When it was brought up live, she said she would not give her money for an RV. That was not what the money is for. And again, if it came push comes to shove, it is LP's money. She gets to decide what the hell she wants to do with it. She is not a child, you know. So to say that is not her money, that's just that's redonkulous. You can't do that, you know. Oh my God! They kept also, man, that paint chips video. Jesus Christ, dude. I mean, this guy is a weirdo. That was his quote on that. I did save that for part of this. Let's see. You have all of her statements. Let me pull up let me see if there's any more in here I want to pull up. And then I've got a whole folder full of other ones. But let me see. Trying to decide what I want out of here. Oh, yeah, there's more. Give me 1 second. I think I want to go to Hill. I'll go back to their chat. Check this out. Here we go. Coming back to it. Michelle is cutting their own throat here. Yep. I'm almost thinking someone is telling her you took money out of it. Huh. That's not a very nice way of putting that, by the way. It's kind of... I would never have thought this would break this friendship and movement to help your IR family. Really? Oh my God. People are not your friends online. They're not. It's something that he watched from the quote-unquote ecosystem. None of these people in a year. When this stuff moves over, none of these people will have anything to do with one another. They won't. Watch. It'll be a mess. It'll be a titanic mess. That's because, quote unquote, friendships online. It's such a bizarre thing to call them friendships anyway. You know, you have somebody on a stream and you talk to them, that doesn't make you friends. But when you cut up and things, you know, people assume that. If you're good with a business, then everybody seems like your friend. But these people, they don't know how to do that. They're garbage at it. I have a few friends online, you know, that are legit friends. Like Megan, for example. When we cut up, it's legit being friends, you know. But a lot of these people, can John not talk sense into her? Have you seen some of the things that she said about John? Again, I don't understand how people ignore the red flag statements about John that she's made. You know, Bruce, by the way, again, to note this, and we'll show this on Monday again, Bruce verified that those messages that came up where she was talking about John and some of the things the kid brought up, Bruce verified that those messages are real. Typically in court, you'd have to get some kind of special, you know, to go in, some kind of expert. They would have to go in, examine everything. But instead, Bruce went with you're doxing messages from your friend. Now, they were messages that, again, were quite, they were something. They were something. But we're supposed to pretend those didn't exist either. He can talk sense into her, right? Michelle's new lawyer needs to keep her off the internet the way Bruce did. Since he's left, she's been making everything worse. Well, I do think that Bruce reined her in a little bit better in the past. I really do think that's true. That's one thing I will give Bruce. He did rein her in a little bit more than these other people have. Oh my God. There's so much that she's, I mean, she's set fire to so much else. Let's see. What else? I thought this was interesting too. They kept saying that, I wrote this down, that she kept talking to a lot, emphasis on a lot of people. They can't all be saying the same thing and her not be lying. So she did call her a liar. I used the word liar and then said, wait, I'm not calling her a liar. Because if she's a liar, then what else could she lie about? Yeah, it's so weird. So funny. She was throwing a fit too. She was like, "You're having lawyers look at me. It was really funny. Oh my God, it got me laughing last night. I love it. I'm going to continue to do what I said I'm going to do, though. Again, she said that over and over. I wrote it in 3 times here. And when she said it, she was talking about doing things for HD. Now, remember, HD is a minor. It doesn't matter if you say you're doing it for her. You've, number one, already looped in the parent's name. And on top of that, even if you weren't, you would still have to have NP's consent for that. I mean, my God, do they not understand what a fucking minor is? But they keep noting, we're here for HG. That's it. I don't believe that they are. I believe some people have been. I believe they have been. I do. I think there's some people, when they look at this situation, they think, man, those kids, or that kid, rather. I said those kids. That kid. Poor kid. Because no matter what you think about this situation, no matter who you think is wrong in a situation, one of the problems is, like this really bothered me. When I see Travis live streaming, for example, he's sitting in his yard, he's just talking. I mean, it's all out there too. You can look that video over if you want. He's doing that, and they have the kids screaming across the fence, trying to utilize them as part of a social media issue, like trying to create drama and strife. I'm like, man, poor kid, dude. They'd been telling this kid too that, like, the person over there, they're a monster. They're going to come and get you. I mean, you've heard some of the statements, and it was, for a kid, I can't imagine how a kid would process that. Now I understand stranger danger. My kids are taught, like, people are not your friends. You understand that, but I don't create boogeymen. My kids don't understand this mess that's going on. In fact, there was a Fatty and friends trying to actually create some drama the other night. My oldest came on, and she said hi to somebody. Let me pull this up. Wait 1 minute. She said hi to a person talking in the stream. And they were nice, by the way. Nothing negative in this at all. It was a very nice interaction. Let me pull this up here. So you see, Canada is watching. And you notice, she said, like, the kids are going to get swamped with awesome candy. Very, very nice on both sides of this, right? Well, this somehow became, the kids were talking to an account called Canadian Flea instead of Canada is watching. He's like, what? When you listen to a kid, that's how you can't read the chat, first of all, you pompous moron. And used it to launch an attack on, because that's what they are. They're nasty, man. Nasty business. Tried to motivate an army of people to attack over this by trying to warp it into something. And again, Canada's watching. Props to you, by the way. It's so bizarre, man. But that's what they do. They lie, man. They lie a lot. So let's pull up the rest of, let's see. Almost forgot about that one. I was like, what? Now, Canadian flea? When did that happen? I'm afraid she's like my mother, has to keep the drama going. I believe that's actually 2L in the gang because it is cost effective, you know. And for me, oh, fuck yes, I cover drama. Oh, yeah. These people want to burn each other down. You better believe I cover them all month long, you know. I get a good laugh out of them. Give me a second. Got to, you know, I like to laugh at stupid people. It makes me feel good. It actually makes me laugh a lot. Holy crap. So Lynette. Wow, Lynette has made a couple of comments about this stuff. Let me give me a second. I'll pull everything up here. But she also talked about Marla. That's interesting. So she did make a couple of comments there. I didn't notice them. 1 minute. I have to send these to myself. You just have to give me a second, okay? But they haven't talked in a while. That I actually don't know if I believe that, because just the way some things came together, the way some of the deflection came together, it seems kind of bizarre. Either Marla wants to give the idea or impression that they talk a lot. And again, I don't care who they talk to. That's not the point. The point is that it's so strange. It's kind of like the Ray thing, right? They kept telling us that Ray wasn't part of any of the online stuff. He had nothing. He hadn't been talking about. He hadn't been talking to or about LP. He hadn't been talking to these other people. And then yesterday we hear that 2L had been talking to him on the phone. He told us today that, you know, he was no longer going to deal with these people or anything. You know, wait a minute. I thought you weren't dealing with them to begin with. What's going on? Okay, so here's her statement. So she made a statement. Let's see. I could not do a video today because we had our 31st visit from children and families. And guess what? We were given a clean bill of health. Who are they going to blame this on, by the way? Miss Carol Welsh. By the way, if that is indeed the person who made a claim, I don't know who Carol Welsh is. I don't know if that's the name that was on there. But if you did make a claim, I would contact Children's Services. I don't care who they are. This doesn't have anything to do with these people, but your name is supposed to be anonymous. So if they actually put your name in somebody else's hands, I would contact their services and I would freaking throw a shit fit about it. But who's contacting about this stuff? Again, I in no way, shape, or form encourage people to contact services. I want to make that 100% clear. I do not believe that you should be doing that. I do not believe it will help anything. If you think it is an issue, it will not. If something comes up there, they're just not going to do anything. So there's no point or purpose in contacting. Plus, I'm telling you 100% not to. But I find it really bizarre that over the last 2 days that they kick off a little war with these folks, and then they get a CPS complaint. I don't know who a Carol Welsh is. Give me 1 second. I'm seeing if anybody knows who that is. Yeah. Let me see. I'm looking. I was trying to see. Keep reading, Doug. Oh, yeah, there's more stuff for sure. I just saw this first, you know. Docs the complaint, yes. And again, that doesn't have any regular chatter. Okay, well, if that is true, if that is truly your name on there, then that is a problem if a CPS worker put your name on there. They have a universal anonymity. In fact, you have to strip it away in litigation and have a judge strip it away, and it is difficult to do. They're supposed to protect source. That's why people are allowed to complain to it. So again, this has nothing to do with Michelle Preston, just to note. This has everything to do with CPS. If somebody does contact and your names come up from that, I would raise 9 shades of hell. I don't care if that's a ecosystem person. I don't care who it is out there. And again, that is not me encouraging contact in any way, shape, or form. They are 2 separate things, you know. But we saw your name on that nasty list of charges against us on YouTube. And guess what, dear? The worker got to read that. She got to read all those wonderful charges standing in our yard, reading all of the notes from previous workers and looking around our property saying, well, wait a minute, help, I was told was standing sewage and buckets everywhere and lots of filth everywhere, but I don't see that. A lie. Will never be the truth. How many times do I need to pass this stuff before someone is going to say, wait a minute, maybe we were lied to, maybe none of this is true? You know, if we're going to talk about something again, there are red flags that were brought up by herself, but these are not the things that they bring up. And they don't matter. Again, ultimately, it doesn't matter because it won't in this situation. It won't. But she brought up how she wouldn't talk to CPS or child services about the things that her child supposedly said about John Cook. Different thing. But maybe we should be on the other side, looking at the other side. I wonder, I don't know if it was me. I would be doing better research. And every time people call and it's fabricated lie, you're taking away what other side? What does that even mean? I don't even know. It can be spent on a child or a family or a child that is really being abused. Think about it. Oh, and thank you to the caller. That'd be caller that turned us into CPS. Wait. I'm confused. They just said Carol Welsh. But then they said thanks to the caller. So is that not Carol? I'm confused. Are they saying that wasn't Carol? I don't know. I don't understand that. You know, I don't. You gave me the worst wonderful comment that I've seen in a long time. Thank you for telling that had a beautiful looking booth. Oh, somebody called and CPS turned us in and gave comment. What does that mean? What does that even mean? I don't even understand it. Thank you and God bless. What is that supposed to mean? So then the thing about Marla comes up. All right. Marla. Somebody said, Marla, your bestie. And she was like, Marla ain't my bestie. I do not think Marla is my bestie. I haven't spoken to Marla in almost a year. We don't get along. So you're wrong. Sorry. We don't get along. Marla, just like everyone else there, again, in the ecosystem, if you think you will not get turned on, it is not true. One day you will get turned on, every one of you. It will happen. Marla is number 1 stunner as far as excuses for LP are concerned. She is always out there. She even tried to get donors to put in money, insult, get more money. I mean, it's crazy shit. She has done so much damage. That's all she does online is damage control for LP. Got herself almost in litigation trouble. And now they're not friends anymore. Isn't that bizarre? Oh, you gotta love it, right? You gotta love it. All right, let's continue here. So, give me a second. Continue with the screenshots there. Michelle should shut her yap. Stay off the net. She's only making things worse for her. God knows that what she'll come up with next. Shut that yap. Don't we all know she doesn't have money for 2 lawyers and a bankruptcy? One isn't doing any of that. Why don't you just call her and talk it out? She actually does not have multiple lawyers, by the way. That is 100% true. She does not have the money for that. But hey, that should upset these people, Let's see. Question I asked gently. Has she said she has bipolar or any other mental illness? So now you are mentally ill, Michelle Preston, according to them. You ask a question, you are mentally freaking ill. Isn't that amazing? What a quack job. Oh my God. See, what's funny is they're now agreeing. I've been saying for a while, like I've never tried to remote diagnose her, by the way, but the stuff that I've said or other people have said, now it's all legit. Now everything's gravy because somebody questioned their freaking mouthpiece. Isn't that something else? Or is it Lips? What happened with Lips, by the way? So Lips not only tore through her entire channel and deleted it, right? Which was by itself wild. But on top of that, she put out, like, somebody showed me an auto message, okay, for her stuff. It changed. It had gone from the attention new policy due to this was the old one. The voluminous amounts of text I've received from non-client inquiries. We have implemented a new policy. If you're a current client of, the law firm, the estate law firm, or in need of consultations to discuss your legal issue, please visit. And they put up their website. This was how their old posting went, their auto replies. Now it's changed, though, to please contact, and it has the husband's address. Leslie is no longer assisting in cases. Thank you. Huh. Does that sound like somebody has had a little problem there? I mean, she ghosted everything again. So we're back to dumping everything, and now no, she's not assisting in cases whatsoever. It's like, wow, that's interesting. She's out. I have no idea what's up with that. All I know is this: like, they're not. I don't understand what some of these people are trying to accomplish. They don't grow off of it. They're not going to make money. Like, after all the fireworks and stupid, how exactly are they going to make money off of LP anymore? How are they going to continue this? Like, their whole plan of setting up multiple lawsuits to go after Jeremy, they went out and did their own damage. They told people that Michelle Preston lies. They've caused issues. So how do they continue that grift? They can, of course, raise some money on their own names, but how do they continue with the Michelle Preston is a victim narrative when they've done stuff like this? Now, I know some of the ecosystem, again, every day I watch more and more people that were connected to this start asking questions, And some of them actually come to a conclusion. They come to a conclusion that, wait a minute, they've been had. They've been had, You've done your best, more than your best. Oh, we love you for it, Lisa. You're the only one there. Did John and Michelle get repossessed, by the way? That comes up over and over again. What happened to the and again, we can get a straight answer for that. It always diverts. A little advice, Michelle. A good carpenter measures twice, cut once. Michelle, try thinking twice about what you're going to say before you do it. Too late for that, for all these people. Big C, that's the guy who thinks they got a $20,000 fence, by the way. She needs to stop that of begging for money. Get a freaking job. We all have or had to work. I'm sorry, but this pisses me off. Well, I hate to tell you, lady, but they've been doing this forever. They don't offer you a product or a service. They have been utilized, though, to sell shiny rocks and shit. You know, welcome to Temu. I swear to God. But now it's get a job, you know. Check this out. This is give our money back. Now, I'm sure that 2L and them don't like this, but there's been, I think more people should promote this too. Money should be given back if it's not going to be given to Michelle Preston. It's her money. Now, again, they want to leave 2L in control of money, but they have no idea what's happened with it. I mean, it's culty in its own way. But I gave money at a church for a specific cause. They came back and changed where money was going. Give us a chance to ask for our money back. I did as it wasn't when I donated to. Got it back. Huh. So you want your money back. Are you saying that they gave you your money back from I very much doubt they gave you your money back for the lawyer thing. There's $6,000 there, folks. I mean, again, and I'm sure more than a few people were not happy about that. I'm surprised more people didn't ask for their money back. Again, for a bankruptcy lawyer that is not doing a very good job. If it's true, she's just proving what has been said about her is right, that she eventually turns on everyone. It's true. These people they all do that though. They go knives out and ruin, and they do it publicly. Again, the difference between somebody, you don't have to like people. People will pass in the night, as it were. You know, if I have a problem with somebody, like I said, I don't really want you to know it. You know, it's not your business. If it's something that comes up like that, it has to be pretty damn bad. I'm talking about like people. Again, I'm not talking about some random person we're talking about like with cases or something. I'm talking about like a YouTuber or whatever. These people that go knives out, who don't they have a problem with? On a 1-year platform, who don't they end up having a problem with? That's the best question. Now that everyone needs to stop talking about Michelle. What? How are they going to continue making money? Do you think they're going to get it from another case? They tried to jump in on another case and it didn't work for them. I myself will remind every mofo out there who these people are if a case comes up too. These are some terrible people. And especially with the money thing. Like, that's the other thing, too. Like, they want to grow a channel off of fucking other... Man, what they did with that money, that's why that doesn't need to be forgotten. Because until there's real clarity to it, they might do it again and again and again. Hold on one second. All right, back. I had to clear my throat. I want my fence panels back. I want my fence panels back. They're coming to get them. They're going to get your fence panels back. All it took, again, was questioning her. That's all it took. Isn't it amazing? Like, when this first started out, I figured if Michelle would have flexed back when, she would have been able to get something done. She would have been able to wreck them. But what these people did is they inserted themselves into her life. Whether you like her or not, they did. They 100% did. You had a whole army of them. They inserted themselves into her life. They inserted themselves into every facet of it. They told her things that are wrong, by the way. They told her things about the law that are wrong. They told her things about, oh God, just everything. Instead of going in a direction that she should have, they opened up. Again, look at how they're trying to cover their tracks. They're trying to declare bankruptcy. They're trying to cover up not just Fed case. They're trying to cover up the remnants of the thumbnail case, of the Trespass 5 case, and of other cases they're afraid might pop off in the future. Those are cases that Bruce brought on, and to these people, they applauded all the way to the bank. But they want their fence panels back, man. She's going to keep making money off of her ass. She's going to make it for a week at least. Watch. The next live stream is going to be crying about the backlash because of Michelle. And then sooner or later, they'll get her to fall back in line. They'll say everything was gravy. She was just stressed out or something. But they'll still lose some people off of it. Because again, you know, there's always a deflection point. But this stuff has been brewing for months, really, on the big number. But the $18,000 thing has been brewing for a little while now. Lisa, please don't take this the wrong way. But how much vetting did you do on her? Her history is not even close to being trustworthy. Wait, what? You guys are sitting there with her, and many of you know it. Again, I don't know Frank. I mean, maybe you've known all along, and you know you're just somebody who watches there. But I think there's a lot more people. A lot of people too get banned when they say things like this. But how long has it gone on? How many people have known that maybe, just maybe, there are problems? Again, when you look at Northport, when the Northport information came up, when people that were not Jeremy Hales, you were finding out about cease and desist from there, about calls to services, about a kid, and about worry. When you were finding out all of that stuff, that should have been a glaring warning sign. But I guess a lot of these people didn't listen to it either, because they say, I see this still in the chat. We only listen to you. Well, if you only listen to them, you're not getting a freaking picture of what's happened. And that's the saddest part of it all. You know, again, you can disagree. You can think your money should go elsewhere, but I gotta plug my phone back up. Give me a second. I'm reading. Yeah, so people are asking about the one second. So as far as the RV thing, yes, that would mean if there is no RV there, then you would be back to shed living, I suppose. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know about the repo, but there was a repo in there for sure, and it looked recent, and there's been discussion, and nobody seems to want to answer that question. That makes me wonder if they're freaking for sure legit that the RV got repoed. And here's the question again, you know, where people are like, well, we need to supply. Well, there's money already. Like, again, they have money. These people, I'm not giving them a dime. And I'm not fundraising for them. And you know why? Because at the end of the day, it won't fix a damn thing. Some people need a hand up. Those people, I understand. I've been that person. I've needed a hand up in my life. You scratch and you claw and you can't find your way out of the hole. I've been there. It sucks, man. You know, you work and you struggle. I think all of us have been there at one time, probably, you know, in some way. But I mean, I've been there for like legit, and I feel it. That's why, you know, again, I'm very thankful for where I'm at. And I like to try to help people when I can. But these folks, man, I mean, when you put together their background and everything else, it is very unfortunate that there is an innocent party that gets impacted. But everything you do, the impact isn't coming from outside sources. They had how much money on hand? They had, again, somewhere between, God, what, 70 and 100, maybe even more money. Who knows how much money right there? That wasn't enough. It'll never be enough. When this dries up, there'll be more. I mean, there were 30 GoFundMes before you ever got to Otter Creek. was just unfortunate that, this one situation spun into well, I've got to figure out how to deal with this because this is my real life by somebody. And I got them a lot of attention. But that seems to be it waning again. People know about the history. And again, that is not, when I say that, that is not a shot at Frank either, just to say, Frank, I don't know, Frank, pro or con, you may be the greatest person ever. It bothers me that there are a lot of people out there that just overlooked it because maybe they don't like Jeremy Hills. I've heard people say that. Well, I don't like Jeremy Hills. Okay, well, if you don't like him, what made these people good, though? Why did you decide they were okay? Your dislike of someone does not, the enemy of my enemy is not my friend. That I love that statement there, but that is not true. If you don't like one person, the alternative might not be much better. But I mean, the reasons I hear too, I hear a lot of buzzwords that were planted, especially about people like Bruce. There's many people who want to buy those still. People who've never read through the dockets, never actually looked at proof. They just listened to a bunch of moron spiel on. They never looked at what was there. They don't like crass words. Well, when somebody's talking about shooting you in the head and feeding you to alligators, I don't believe that they deserve that. The first thing we found out, and there's a police report that backs this up, that one of the first things that they did to Hales was they contacted the police and they said that there was a plot to off the ex-mayor that he was part of. They were going to take him out and they were going to quit him. That's the kind of stuff they were doing. You owe people like that nicety. Would you show that person nicety? People act like it's just some noise that came up online. Oh, no, man. That's some crazy shit when people are doing stuff like that. That was some of our intro into this when you go all the way back. I didn't even know about that. When Shara brought it up, that's when you start looking for proof of police contact and stuff. Oh, yeah, it definitely happened. And it happened early on. This kind of crazy stuff. They were going for, pardon the word, but they were going for kill shots on him. Something else. They're like, oh, give her the $53 left. So they're making fun of the fact. This is somebody that said, I want my panel back. They're also like, haha, here's $53, sucker. So, lovely. Lovely. I don't go to anything she posts on. I don't listen to LP. I only listen to you. That was whispered, bro. What's that? There's our 20,000 bug fence. Oh my God. I love it. But people were asking about the RV. Was it true that it got repossessed after she dropped what much have been $1,000 on a dog? And that total, I mean, that disturbed people as well. And it should have. I mean, it's a crazy amount of money, I am not the least bit interested in going to Michelle's post against 2L. 2L is the one who showed me what was being done. My trust is in 2L. Man, you fucking people are crazy. My God. I hate what Jeremy has done to that family. But when you come against the people that have helped you, it's unacceptable. Wait. This whole chat, the things that they've done, you could easily be called a hate group. You're posting, everything that you claimed was wrong. All of the things that you said were bad about destruction of property and stuff, that some rando, you said, oh, an anonymous account posted that, which could have been one of y'all. But now y'all are posted under your own name. Isn't that crazy? I mean, look, they threw out the who's to blame? Only me. It kept going up. Like I screenshot this a few times, by the way. Who's the devil? The devil that would blame only me. Only me. Isn't it amazing? Again, you don't have to like only me either. You know, I mean, but the kicker on that is that they begged this dude for money, and they begged this dude for money, and they begged this dude for money. I have 8 folders of screenshots from different just blow ups. It's not counting the new stuff. I haven't even organized all of that yet, but 8 folders worth of insanity. The only person that had any stones whatsoever in all of that and wasn't a duplicitous hack was Miyagi, because at least they kept up their videos and what they thought about this person. But these other folks that spent 3 months thereabouts attacking this guy started begging for money again. Begging. Give me that dollar. It was so amazing. Ugh. Be right back. So irritated. Got my cookie. Sometimes you just got to cut people loose who are dragging you down with them. Huh. That's funny. They're dragging you down. They've been your talking point, your bread and butter. Let's see, there's some more too. Let me see what else. You know what? I'm going to go through the others. Well, actually, I like this. Somebody put together. We should look. Maybe we'll look at this tomorrow. I didn't realize we've been on so long. There's so much of it. Look. Somebody put together. I saw this. I saw. Give me one second. This fake newsletter that somebody made, and it had armies of screenshots like this. Yeah. See all the we should go through so many of these and laugh at it, you know. Because some of this stuff, you know, you got the old stuff and then you got some of the new stuff. We should go through it and see how, you know, MP was the greatest thing since sliced bread until, you know what amazes me too? How fickle that crowd is. I mean, they all loved her until. So she posted also, LP did a thing about CPS. She said she's going to put up a video tomorrow. We will see. Like I said, if she actually does put one up. You know, I'm reading over some of the parts of it. I mean, I'm not doubting that a CPS call could happen too. You know, I've been on the receiving end of fake CPS calls before. I'm not saying that anybody's concern is not a valid concern either. I don't know what was reported or what wasn't. I know I have been on the receiving end of some crazy people before, though. And wow. But you know what? I've never made statements about how I'm trying to hide terrible things or what. Anyway, I shouldn't get into that. Ugh, these people, man. Anyway, don't contact anyone associated. Let's go over some super chats here. These people, man, they blow my mind. They do. They blow my mind. God, there's a bunch of screenshots here too. All right. 1 second. Okay. Let's do this. Bonnie, thanks for the 2. Tug, why am I not able to chat? You should be able to chat, Bonnie. If you can send a super chat, you should be able to chat. If you think you've been silenced or banned on accident, now, something that you typed may have been held by YouTube. I do not control what gets held, just to note. So if they think there's something in there. And sometimes what you say has nothing offensive in it whatsoever. They just get weird. But that might be YouTube censor. But if you think for some reason you're not showing up at all, how about you send me an email, and in the email, note your YouTube channel. You know, every person, when you sign up, you have a YouTube channel, and across the top of it, you have a URL or an address. You know, if I took that, I posted it into my computer, I would just be able to pop right in there. What I can do, instead of looking to see if you're blocked, which is such a slow process, they don't have an alphabetical order or anything in the block system. If you send me that, I can tell right away if you're blocked or not. I'll look at it, and if there's any problem, I'll fix it. And if there's not, well, then there's not. But that's the way. You shouldn't have a problem, though, if you can super chat. So, Max Lamb, thanks for the 2. Check email. Is that from the her post that she sent out? Is that what you're talking about? There's also, like I said, there's give me 1 minute. There is a follow-up for court, but it's short, and we will hit it tomorrow. It's not big at all. It's Randy essentially agreeing with the bankruptcy, but there is a good call out in it. So we also have, so Shara ended up dropping her video. If you haven't seen it, wow. I really hope you guys did see that one. So Shara dropped one heck of a video. And apparently BBB was threatening her. That's right. He had been threatening her with litigation. It's amazing to look at, you know. His stuff was, I mean, it was just nuts. Let me see. I need to go over the Shara video. I need to go over new Fed 1. Give me 1 minute. I'm writing this down. Give me 1 second. There's also BBB Fed 2 file. God, there's so much stuff, man. There's still parts of this I don't feel like I got to. But thank you. Seneca Cheap, thanks for the 2. Who? Gabe or Lisa got more money from old ladies? I think actually 2L got more money than from folks out there, just to be honest, because they dropped. If you went, oh, they turned on what is it? Peculiar Optics? Is that the name of the chatter? I think that's it. It's Peculiar Optics, right? They noted them by name as a problem too. So they actually went after them by name as a chatter. I mean, it's wild to me they called out like 4, maybe 5 people by name, like just, you know, accounts out there. Now, again, you know, a larger account, that if an account picks up a microphone and starts talking, okay, maybe. If account spend an absorbent amount of money and stuff, okay, I understand why you know them. But because somebody chatted in the wrong other chats, or because somebody disagreed, apparently it's a crime, though, to come and talk in this chat. That's really bizarre. Why is it criminal to come over here and to actually get along with it? Oh, because you might actually look at something. But yeah, they noted them by freaking name. They were a troll here for a while, then they seemed better and respectful. Yeah, I'd seen them before, you know. And Peculiar Optics was, I mean, friendly enough. You know, they troll a little bit here and there, and that's okay. You know, as long as you troll well, I'm okay with it. Like if you're just some brash D-bag, you're going to end up getting banned eventually, right? I mean, if that's your purpose, then congratulations, you'll get banned. But if you want to just goof off, and again, I know some people, they've been told forever that somehow, you know, there's a line in the sand, and everyone over here is the enemy. It's like, no, you know. I don't want you to feel like that is the setup. I have my own opinion on this stuff. And if you don't agree with my opinion, it's okay. You don't have to agree with my opinion, but calling out again, just random accounts that just go to other places. But I mean, people backed it sending in Jew. It's weird. So I think it was actually 2L that got all that. I mean, they were dropping a few hundo. All they had to do was turn on LP. That was the only thing. I had to turn on her publicly, and they had to talk smack. I still haven't read everything in my notes. I'll have to go back and see what I didn't cover. I made, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages of notes. You know, when they talk about putting effort in, by the way, this is what goes into a live stream. So I have a notebook here. I put in 5 pages of notes from there. I got all the screenshots together. You know, other people got screenshots too. Props to them. Thank you. I made sure I took down everything that was said with the letter is too. So there's about 8 pages worth of crap. And also I had to listen to some of their god awful stuff. And on top of it, I got to listen to, I listened to Ray today. I listened to about half of his because I wanted to, somebody had said, hey, you should check this out. You know, he's like, hey, I'm done. By the way, let me talk smack about this person, that person. And didn't say nobody should be able to talk smack about this. It's crazy. Aussie Wombat, thank you for the 5 giftos. Thank you, Aussie Wombat. Ooh, wombats. Love the wombats. I got some wombats in the mail, by the way. That's crazy. Love it. Rhea Bry, thanks for 10. Today, 15th, was my dad's 100th birthday. My dad was 15, but made a huge impact in my life. I miss his smile and sense of humor. Have a few bevies in his honor. Indeed, man. I look back at, again, my stepfather, very, very close to him, though. You know, I had, my dad was just something, my biological dad. And then his stepfather that was not good at all. But after that, I had a stepfather, second stepfather that, you know, he was around for a long time. And he's the one that ended up passing away. And yeah, when I look at that, even though it's been a while, you know, I look at the positives too, you know, and all the fun, you know, and sometimes have a moment in their honor, especially on their birthday or on a holiday. You know, it just creeps in. Hey, Andre, thanks for the 2. Wow, I thought my headphones took it off. Oh my God! If you, I'm telling you. So let me give somebody a shout out. All right, 1 second. Give me 1 minute. I got to find something real fast. If you want to check out the clips from the other night, first of all, I found them in, well, they're on different pages, but I think it was in the Shady Bunch. Let me see. There's a few groups out there that are pretty good. There's let's see. Maybe it's Otter Creek Tube Town that it was in. Because there were a lot. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's been posted over the last few days. And it's all interesting. But if you want to be able to put some of it together, the Otter Creek Tube Town. Give me a second. Yeah, that's where it is. So here we go. Let me note the person, first of all. I want you to follow this name. You can actually find many a good clip. This was over on one of the posting boards. This is public, by the way. So I just thought, you know, with all this work you did, you deserve some love for it. So you see Amanda here? Yeah. Amanda posted a bunch of clips from that. You can see those. And it's good. The one thing I will say, though, that will drive you insane is the freaking chirping in it. So this is from Otter Creek Tube Town, by the way. Okay. Now you find it, you'll have to send a request to become part of it because it, like many groups, is a private group, but definitely do. I mean, again, this is a place you can communicate, you know, you can ask questions or whatever. I'm not affiliated in any way, shape, or form. I'm just somebody that is there, by the way. Just pop in. Props to Pam, by the way. Appreciate you. But when you look through all of this, again, you'll find that there is so much. And props to all you freaking clippers out there. Going through 6 hours of live stream for that stuff. Oh. But it drove me nuts. There's this cricket in the background the whole time last night. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to go insane. Jack Small, thanks for the 5. FLP had $56,000. Would they have let the RV get repoed? At least it seems okay. Well, that's true too. Actually, that's a very good point. But then again, I wonder if they were going to have repo anyway, how much money were they behind? If they are knowledgeable about everything that's been going on with LP, if 2L has all this money and you did have something like that happen, yeah, how could you stand by and let it happen, especially if you had all of that money? I just, I don't think it's ever going to be better. Ever going to be. Sandra, thanks for the 4 months. Love is easy. It's what you do with it that counts. That's very true. That is a very, very true statement. Aces, thanks for the 2. JH last night said the RV is gone. So the RV, see, that RV, man, I mean, if that RV for real, if they have nothing else, that's awful. If these people, if they really are sitting on that much money of these people's, again, what is it going to help months down the road? It's their money. They're going to burn through it anyway. What good is it going to do to build them a barn dominium, honestly? Anyway, they're not going to pay their taxes down the road. They're going to end up losing their shit. It won't matter. They're not going to be able to keep up the money for the flea market. Somebody was talking. So I get a message from somebody talking about the cost of flea markets and how when you're part of the flea market, the only person that really is making good money out that way is the person that owns the flea markets. You're not raking in the cash. So for them, if that $400 a month is true, if you're talking about $100 a week, almost $5,000 a year, like that won't stand. And over time, again, everything will eventually, it will part. So, I mean, what good would that thing do anyway? Again, who's going to keep up the taxes? Are they planning on doing this long term? Because sooner or later they will fail at it, and people get sick of it. Thank you, Aces, by the way. Janice, thanks for the 10. Jeremy did verify, by the way. Thank you, all of you that say this too. There's more of you that notice. Thank you, Janice, though, too. Verified that a Crick's camper was repossessed on Jeremy's live last night. That's crazy, man. I saw it listed in the filing. For what was it, May? If that actually happened in May, if I remember reading that correctly, are we talking about this going on for how much time? Like, how long have people known? These people that get up on their fucking soapboxes and point their finger and say, oh, we're for the child. We're doing all this stuff for the kid. If that is true, how long? How long have they known? How long have they not cared? So that's nuts to me. And if they didn't know, well, then they're talking if they didn't know, but they're talking about like what goes on, like they're in the, I don't believe that there's no communication. I believe they may have had a falling out and communication stopped, but I do not for a moment believe that communication has been off for any length of time. It's funny what they let go to. Again, like Ray, I thought was very interesting because with Ray, they said that they'd been communicating with Ray. They'd been talking to him about this, that, or the other. He had said certain things about what was going on. And I thought, didn't they file in court that he wasn't like part of all of this at all? It blows my mind, because the admissions, they're just flagrantly say shit out there. Like it doesn't matter. So bizarre. Fallen Hero, thank you for the gifted membership there. Thank you, Fallen Hero. Much appreciated there. Grandma, what's up? Thanks for the tune. Hey, I lost my dad Sunday morning. He's a mom now. Oh, that's sad, man. It hurts. Let me say this. Mourning is okay. It's okay to have loss. It's okay to feel. That is totally a valid thing. If you feel, first of all, you need people. If you have them around that you can communicate with, that is, it's good to have people to lean on. If there are people online too, or whatever. But if you find there's more than that, and you need some help in the immediate, make sure that you also reach out to a professional. There's nothing wrong with that either. Like I said, it's okay to feel and it's okay to mourn, you know? And over time also, remember, this is what a therapist will tell you. What you want to do over time. And this is not, it may sound easy, but it takes time. You know, it's a thing you have to continually remind yourself of. When you look at that date, when you look at the date where they were lost, don't let it become a holiday for mourning, where you think about the absence or the loss. You think about the person and you celebrate them. You think about what was there and you loved about them. It becomes almost like a commemoration day, you know. You always, because they live through you. They're never gone. They always live through you. But I get it there. And love to you. You know, love and support. DDG, thanks for the 20 there. I'm collecting quotes for replacement of one side of my fence, approximately the same size and type. First bid for the fence, $2,000. Second bid was from Solo Handyman, $600 labor, plus the cost of supplies. So, I mean, if you're talking, yeah, the $3,000, they didn't have any labor that they were supposed to be charging with. So that was all supposed to be free. So if they didn't have any labor whatsoever that they were paying for, they were only paying for cost of supplies. I can't believe there are idiots out there saying a $20,000 fence. Have you looked at that thing? I think you're right. I thought $3,000. I thought, man, maybe, you know, that's high bidding it. I mean, honestly, if you were being smart about it, you could definitely pull down something for a lot less, you know. But I thought $3,000, that's a, you know, that's an adequate, a fair number. That way it gives them lots of wiggle room, because they only put up one. I mean, it's only one piece of a fence. It's so absurd too. And then they put all that trash on top of it. If they would have built it correctly from go, that's the thing that really annoys me about it is, if you're going to build a privacy fence and you want it to be taller than the road, make it taller than the road. You know, I'm talking about where I would want it where somebody, if they were standing in the back of a pickup, it would be high enough. You know, there would be something that obscures them. And they put shit over the top of it. So bizarre. Just to yell under it, by the way. Jack's mom, thanks for the 2. They should have bought a tiny home. Hey, they could have gone that route for sure. You know, there's a million ways they could have gone. Honestly, they could have taken a recreational vehicle and they could have had that and turned it into something that worked for them. You know, what they needed to do, first of all, they don't need to have turtles or any of that shit, because they supposedly can't feed themselves. That's a problem. What they need, if they have a business or something, they have a grift, then they can keep the grift going. They should have built up their own YouTube channel by now. They could have built it in for anything. People would have tuned in. Shit, I would have listened. I would have listened to the crazy. I definitely would. You know, 100%. They should encourage people to share and to subscribe to it too, because again, they could have been making their own money. I would have definitely subscribed to it, you know. So they could have gone all these different ways. They could have had a money influx, You know, by now, with all this time, they could have gone a much different direction. And without the third party contacts, who would know, it might be a different realm. But instead, you know, what it is, right? What's up, Wheels and Wheels? Thanks for the 11 months. Wow, time flies when you're having fun. I know, it's crazy, isn't it? It is interesting. Also, thanks for the 5 here. Had a 2-hour surgery on my mouth today. I feel and look like I've gone 10 rounds with Mike Tyson. I hear you there. Last time I got to go and get a couple of teeth worked on one day. I haven't done it yet, but God, I dread that. I hate messing with dentists. I hear you. I'm glad it went okay. I love doing a live stream and it's like this. I'm like, hey guys, how's it going? Those are always fun too. Just J Hip, thanks for the 5. Tug takes a lot of what Just J Hip and Star Candy and Ice Cream Month. It's very illegal. Yeah, I know. How dare I take you all's money in your ice cream funds? What a monster. Jack Led, thanks for the 18 months. Thanks, Tug, for going through this with us. Hey, no problem. You know what? It's fascinating to me. Like, again, I told you over time they would turn on each other. They would go knives out and they would turn on each other, and they did. You know, I mean, and you knew that too. You knew a long enough timeline they were going to go. I'm not saying told you so, because you knew this too. You know, but it is interesting, isn't it? And again, they'll try to do damage control, but the damage is done. People are looking at this and they're like, why should I give money to these people? They don't appreciate it. They hate me. Why would I want to do that? We toast. Thanks for the gifted membership there. Thank you, Wheat Toast. That is much appreciated. Thank you, my friend. Just J-Hip, thanks for the 5. I think a certain YouTuber, Tug, said these people would implode on themselves months ago. Here we go. Indeed. Well, you know, you could look at that and you could see that there is nothing holding them together, you know? I mean, the only thing that really united these people was the wallet. And the wallet, as it closes down and it gets harder for them to make a buck, they're going to get more and more desperate. And their content is slimming, you know? I mean, what else? They've run out of, Jeremy did this terrible thing. Oh my God. So once that runs low, what exactly can they go after? Oh, by the way, there was something else yesterday. I watched So You Don't Have To, brought it up, and I'd forgotten about it. They brought up the memorial, and as part of the memorial, they brought up, you know, the gifted quilted blanket. They brought that up, and it was so odd to the way they brought it up, because they were saying there was drama over that because someone had sent the quilted blanket, was supposed to be auctioned off, you know, as part of the memorial. But by the time it got there, it was no longer needed, so they sent it back. And it was so bizarre because it's been one of those things that's been out there for a while. You know, it's just been drifting out there. There was also what was the person's name? They called them Peggy, aka Peggy or Pexter the Penguin. I'm not saying that to be rude. I'm just saying that's what they were calling her. But they went after her too. I thought that was so odd. But they had a whole thing about like this person. Well, actually, we'll go over that tomorrow. That was good. But I saw that. I watched So You Don't Have To. I was checking them out today. Angel, thanks for the 18 months. Tug, only me truly believes LP's lies. It can be seen in his comments. Really sad. Well, you know, he can be presented with stuff, and if he believes, he can believe whomever or whatever he wants, you know, at the end of the day. But I think there's overwhelming. Again, he doesn't have to like. I think a lot of that is based too on not liking Jeremy Hales. I believe that's part of it, a big part of it. You know, we'll see. We'll see. There's plenty of information there. I mean, voluminous amounts. We'll see. You know, and again, there's a. I know one group. I don't think you'll ever have any want or desire to be around anymore. Like I said, these people went totally knives out on him. You know, they tried to work him for money earlier on. The crazy thing was that they decided they wanted to try for money again. So they about faced and they stopped going after him. And they tried to go, oh, you know who we should all go after? Megan and Tug will point only me that way. And they tried to make themselves look like they were saints, like they hadn't done anything for months. You know, these people, like I said, all they did is spend months attacking this guy. I have no dog in the fight. I don't honestly give a crap like which one likes or dislikes the other one, but I do find it messed up that you give that kind of money there and they treat you like shit, you know. So we talked about that for a while. And then suddenly they were like, oh no, we want it to be okay. And apparently then they decided to call him a liar again. They started picking out. They wanted to needle the amount of money he gave. They wanted to take away some of the shine off of what he had done there. And when they did that, he started dropping receipts with numbers. And now I was like, holy crap. So I couldn't. And they did it on some tiny little channel, like some. Again, no offense to a start out channel. I'm just saying it was like a little bitty channel out there. No reason to go after him, but they did. Sandra, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships there. Thank you, Sandra. That's much appreciated. Thank you. Just Jay, thanks for the additional 5 there. Lips dumped all of her content again today. Hot Lips is a hot mess. Like I said, that was so bizarre to see. I mean, all video is taken down yet again. She also changed out the message on her stuff. I don't know. Maybe she figured out there's no point to these people being part of this. There is no upside. What are they going to get? They're going to get a few hundred subscribers. Like, unfortunately for them, what they did at their point was to build business, because that's what this person is trying over and over again, to build business. If their point was to build business, they burned the people that actually could help with that. They burned them from go. And that's the dumbest thing. I mean, they thought Jeremy Hales would become a way to print money, because it's not going to work, man. You know, I mean, people started ignoring. That's what I did. I just started ignoring her, because all she did every day, man, was like run multiple accounts, put up all of these crazy fucking, man, who cares, man? Like, it was just the same old. It became so weird. And it was almost redundant, you know. You just ignored it. Ignored it from go, but again, they amped up their stupid and they're crazy. And they threatened and did this and that and threw a fit because some anonymous people made some comments. But that's so bizarre, man. Starcasm, what's up, Starcasm? Thank you. That's the true person that runs freaking just drop that elbow, keep him in line. Indeed. Thank you, by the way. I appreciate you for sure. Man, I really like that. Just live streams are really funny. His breakdowns and stuff are good. Yeah. He also goes in and listens so you don't have to. It's pretty funny. Janice, thanks for the 10 there. Lynette doesn't want the barn dominium finished. If it was complete, she can't grift using HG by saying they're living in a shed. Grift is her and Crook's game. Having a home stops the grift. That's probably true too, yeah. I agree that it'll never stop. The thing is, though, they can't be getting any money anymore. Like when the money faucet was on, when they had these giant, the whale accounts that were giving them money, that was one thing. But once that turned off, I think it's funny, like, again, they have made it where you either walk lockstep or you're out. Bunsen, what's up? Thanks for the tip. Wait, trespass to get their banner back? LOL. Indeed. They're like, I'll rip your fence down just to get back what's mine. And it's like, you don't understand. It's the same thing, though. That post actually says the same thing that I'm telling you is wrong with what 2L is saying. See, they're under the false assumption when they put this up that the fence panel they purchased is still theirs, and it's not. They gave it to someone else. Now, it doesn't matter why they think it should have been used or how people should act. Once they gave it to them, it's theirs. So it's the same thing. When they opened up and started fundraising in LP's name, that was theirs. It doesn't fucking matter if they say, well, it was for this or that. I honestly wonder, why not turn the money over to her? Is that because you'd have to open up the books and actually let her see what's in that? I mean, because again, does she really know how much money's there? She said, I was told $18K. I mean, when you think about that says you have to trust, right? It's so funny, though, when people bring it up. Again, it's those people over there. They're causing division. Yeah, clarity. I cannot believe that somebody convinced these idiots to sound like cultists to the point that they're like, no, we don't want transparency. That's nobody's business. Are you kidding me? Especially not the person who the money was raised in the name of. What? Maybe not. Dropped 5 giftos. Thank you for that. Much appreciated. Oh, look at this too. Thank you for this as well. Well, give me a second. I need this. Hey, check this out. I was checking it out, by the way. Look at all my, woo, tentacles. What do you think? Like, these are older. This is from one of my, give me 1 second. Let me show you some of these. 1 minute. Let me see. I got to stop sharing the screen too. I'm going to take that down. So look at that. Isn't that cool? Tentacles. Oh, I need to make those move too. They were for more tentacles. This is when, check this out too. There was somebody putting out a false story that I'd been arrested. So I made this one time. Look, here's the lineup. You like that one? Oh my God, look at all those people. Which one's me? I can't figure it out. My identity. Oh my God, I love it. Actually, I don't think that's real. All right. Sorry. I got to get the birthday thing here. I'm going to do the long birthday because Mopar Mama, you deserve it here.
Happy birthday. Yeah. From all of us to you. Happy birthday. Yeah. May all your dreams come true. Happy birthday. We love to have you here. Happy birthday. Here's to another year.
Fun times for another year. Beautiful. Fun times. Thank you too, maybe not. And happy birthday. Just J Hip, thanks for the vibe tug. As your lawyer, I've decided not to allow Fleabag to look over our money. Trust me on this one. Well, as my per se lawyer, I will think about it. I don't know. I don't know. Let me see. Let me see if I can stash all my monies. Let me get off my money pile. Let's see. Let me get off of it and dance a little. Dance for you. Dance in front of my monies. That's so dumb. Maybe not. Thanks for the tip. Max Love says, check your mail. I did check the email. Thank you, Max Love, by the way. Much appreciated, buddy. Thank you. Risa, write a chick. Thanks for the 10. Thanks for all you do, Tuck. When things are at their worst, or things you thought were gone, come back. You make me laugh, and the chat makes me feel like I'm home. Well, indeed. You know, that should be how you feel. So I'm glad to. And remember, there was a statement that, I don't know, I guess I took it a little, maybe I took it more profound than it should have been, but somebody told me one time, just remember, you're never as happy or as sad as you think you are. And I thought, huh, you know, you could look at that as you're never as happy as you think. Oh, okay. But I didn't take it as a negative, you know, I could be happier. And as far as sadness, I could be happier. I didn't take it as a negative in either way. It was like, oh, that's true. It's always up. That's how I took it. Now you could take it a different way, but I took it as an always up. I took it as a positive thing. I found an old. So when I was in college, I used to make these. Like study prep things, and I would give somebody a phrase with it. And one of them I like to do. I always like to put a picture of them in a pool, and I would put like shark fins around it. You know, back when you had to make it on Photoshop, though. I always tell them remember, there are no sharks. You know, you just got to get to shore. There are no sharks. That's what you got to tell yourself, no matter what. Sometimes the water's okay. Sometimes there may be fins, but remember, while you're paddling to shore, there are no sharks. You know, words to live by. But I appreciate you, Ryder Chick, man. Reason, thank you. And thank you for stuff like that too. It makes things, you know, every day. Some days I'm like, I'm skipping today. Like, no, you know what? It's fun. I'll have fun. Y'all have fun. We'll have a good time. John, thanks for the 2. LP says taxes were paid by donations, not 2L. Well, there's the thing. Okay, so I'm curious about this, and maybe one of you can set this straight. All right. I thought she said that she paid it, but then got reimbursed from the money. So the taxes were actually paid, like you said, by the donation money. But Lisa didn't pay them. That it was actually the people who donated that paid them. That's how that's what I remember hearing before. She didn't pay them out of the goodness and kindness of her heart. You know, it's hard for me to imagine them taking that hit too, you know, and actually doing that. So Tracy dropped 5 giftos there. Thank you, Tracy. Like I said, it's always good to see you too. Much appreciated there. I love it. I love, like, when I recognize somebody, I recognize their, I recognize the avatars all the time. I get to know everybody there. Let me see. We stated he gave Preston stuff for his store just last night, but she didn't claim it for bankruptcy. It's not hers. That is bizarre. Nothing from the store is hers. And yet they made statements last night that 100% admitted it was her store and everything else, you know, so whoopsie. Sin, thank you for the super chat there too. Sin, it's good to see you, you know, much appreciated, Sin. Thank you. Let me check something here. One second here. That's weird. I was trying to see. Megan said I could give out some super chat, or not super chat, but a member. Let me see. Like, I could give away a membership, but I can't. Like, it's not on my thing. I told her, like, it's not on my... See, I went in, she said you could look at it and go a certain way, and I'm looking at it, and it won't do that. Because I was going to drop some gifted memberships in, too, since people have been so nice. You know, I could drop so many in a month, she said. But it's not on my control thing. Heidi, thanks for the 10 there. It's one thing to help for a certain thing, reason, or cause, but to expect people to fund your livelihood... Well, it's strange too. Yeah, again, they're not offering a service or commodity. They're not like, hey, like I said, we run a for-profit channel. So if you like what we do, you want to support our channel, that's one thing. You know, we're trying to give you entertainment. If you like it, you can become a member or whatever. Or, you know, if you can't, like, share it or do whatever. You know, again, if people like it, they'll do that. She doesn't do that at all. She doesn't provide anything. You know. And over time, people are like, no, you know, I don't want that anymore. Write a chick, thanks for the fun there. I have to laugh for over a year. As supporters have been called horrible things for saying the exact same thing. That's right. We all told you. Yes, indeed. That is true. So these people have attacked not just people who've supported Hales, but also they've attacked Hales himself for saying the exact same things these people have said. Again, maybe they should vet the people that they're giving their hard-earned money to a little bit more. Because they ended up not liking it. And they based their giving, they're telling me, off of not need or anything else, but off of something superficial, like, because 2L. That's so bizarre, too. You know, you look at the amount of people that came in as well. Those were brought in because of MP. Like, none of these other channels, they're tiny compared to that. I mean, she's not a giant channel by any means, but all these other channels, they get barely anybody, you know? They can't really, unless there's drama. The best turnout I have seen from one of them, we had some drama pump off, and they got about 300 people. But that was a monster turnout. Normally, they have under 100 viewers, you know? And when they do that, and again, no insult meant in that. You got to grow. You got to start somewhere. But they didn't come from there and build up. A lot of these people came in with MP, but they decided for some reason they were going to, they just wanted one source. What happened to supporting MP? Now it's all about these other, I told you they would make it about themselves over time. It would become totally about themselves, all these other people, and Preston and Cook would take a back seat. Now, they need them in some way. So like I said, they'll attempt to try to damage control because there is a symbiotic need. But Preston, I think they're trying to edge Preston out. And if they haven't shown her how much money she really has or anything else, that would worry me. Just Jay, thanks for the vibe. You should pay your lawyer. The bill is growing. Oh no, whatever. I thought everything was included in the 1999. That's funny. Oh man, for real though, you should watch. You should watch The Parasite Lawyer. You should watch Just Jay for sure. His shows have been really funny lately. They've been good, but I mean, with this stuff and the writing of emotions and everything, it's been really funny. Maybe not. Thank you for the 10 giftos there. Thank you. Maybe not. Much appreciated too. It's awesome. I watch those rain in too. Appreciate it. Wanda. Thanks for the gifted membership as well. Thank you, Wanda. Man, I like your dogs, by the way. They look nice. Oh, so tired. Maybe want to nap out too. Maybe not. Like I said, I love your freaking name every time. I don't think I'll ever get past laughing at that. It's one of the more creative, like didn't try to reinvent the wheel. It's just they did a great job. Love it. Janice, thanks for the 10. Creek's camper wasn't meant to be lived in for 3 years with no upkeep and only patching instead of repairing. Yes, true. It went through several hurricanes. They trashed it, and no wonder it's a mess. Indeed. Yeah, that's crazy. Emma, thanks for the 2. Send an email. No need to open it now. I'll check it out. Thank you, Emma. And thank you too. John, thanks for the 2. LP would incriminate herself so quickly. Yeah, YouTube. Yeah, you know what's crazy though, at the same time, again, these people, they have, so she talks about needing or wanting a voice, right? These people, as her voice, what have they done? They've cut her out of it. See, they said that they were her PR. But with her never being around, her PR outgrew her. Now it became about them. Like when they got sued, they looked at that. It's something they can drag out for a year, hopefully. Like if they here's the weird thing. If the charges get dismissed for them, like they're like, oh man, I want it. Like, what then? What then? You're gonna go back to Fed 1, like Fed 1 again. It hasn't been decided yet. But I mean, what are they going to do on the back end of it? It's going to be a problem for them. But right now, it's all about them. John, thanks for the 2 there. Notice BBB and Lips have disappeared from streams. Yeah, I mean, BBB has become more and more infrequent. Isn't that interesting? You know, he used to be around with everything. I wonder if that's because they've been phasing him out too. You know, after the BS with Lips and with them, it felt like they were trying to kick him to the curb. And that's pretty jacked up. I did watch that new video though. Watch Char's video. That was something else, man. For sure. If you have not seen it, check it out. We will check it out too. Willie, thanks for the 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, Willie. Much appreciated, my friend. Thank you. Willie. I like your freaking Muppet too, man. I love it. Colleen, thank you for the gifted membership. Thank you, Colleen, as well. I appreciate it. Hey, by the way, folks, tomorrow. So unless something crazy kicks off, one day this week for sure, but I think tomorrow, unless something again crazy kicks off, I would like to go over that Shara video. When I do that, I will make more Muppets. I need a video playing so I can make Muppets, you know, at the same time. I can't do it while I'm going through screenshots or anything. And usually I do it like if Megan and I are on together, I'll make people Muppets. So I've had some people request when I get that moment, you know, it's been hectic outside of that. I've had a lot going on. So I do plan on making you Muppets there. I just have not had a chance yet. But if we watch a video, that's the perfect time. Mama Bear, thanks for the 10. Tug, I was out of town last Wednesday for my birthday. Oh, man, you know what? On rewatch, you and Megan said, not one birthday. No, no. Started my TV saying, me, Macarena dance. Okay, all right. Maybe I should give people the choice, you know. So you have a birthday Macarena? Okay, God, I can't do it. I got to do it again. Okay, all right. Oh, this happy birthday from all of us to you. Dancing happy birthday. May all my short arms make those dreams come true. Yeah, baby. Oh my God, I got laughing. I'm sorry. I made myself laugh and messed up. Angela, thanks for the 5. Is there a way to look and see if Gabe's funds have been paid off? I'm not sure. That's an interesting, legit question. They have, however, one second. They have made money on the channel. Like last night, they had people again chatting hundreds of dollars, you know, like they had a few $100. They did it on the back of Michelle Preston. So they have made money and they could pay that stuff off theoretically by, by first going after Jeremy Hales. And then now apparently they've decided, hell, I think you can't have her voice either. I guess Jeremy wasn't a big enough money maker. You know what? When they spent half the live stream going after Jeremy, you know, they didn't make anything really. When they went after LP, poor her. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. It worked. It worked much better. Maybe not. Thanks for the 10. Happy birthday, Kathy. What's up, Kathy, by the way? Let me bust one out here too for you. I'm going to bust out the From all of us to you. I'm glad I got to do the macaroni one. That was a lot of fun too. Give me a second. Leslie, birthday. It's mixed in. There we go.
Happy birthday from both of us to you.
Happy birthday. Yeah.
May all your dreams come true.
Freestyle. Happy birthday.
We love to have you here. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Here's to another year.
All right. Happy birthday to you. I love those, man. Love being able to do birthday songs. Marilyn, thanks for the 5. The walrus flea is melting down. Ecosystem is unraveling, just as predicted. Indeed. Indeed. You knew it would happen. You knew it would happen eventually. And apparently it has been good to go. Let's see. Oh my God. Apparently Marla is all eyes. Oh, I'm getting that tug. I'm watching Only Me. They're spying on Only Me. Oh my God. They're so worried that Only Me is going to give money for an RV. He's going to send thousands of dollars for an RV. I'll tell you. First of all, he's not going to do that. Second of all, if he sent money for a fucking RV, that is not going to happen. I'm not funding anything for Michelle Preston. They have got $18,000. I am not doing fundraisers for her. That's nuts. That's lunacy. Trying to think they would try to grift that money out. Oh my God. What a bunch of weirdos, man. Debbie, thanks for the 5 gifted memberships there. Thank you, Debbie. That is much appreciated too. They are so dumb, though. They are so afraid dude will give us money. Like I said, I don't want his money. I've never wanted his money. Like, I don't care about his money, man. You know? I've never asked him for a fucking dime. But what I have done is I've pointed out when they attack him and go knives out because he gave them money. I hope, honestly, you know what would be really funny? I hope that Only Me, since he talks about lawyers, maybe he would give Michelle Preston money to sue you. Maybe that would be the way to go. Maybe since you keep crapping on him and you took his money and you won't turn it over to the person that legally owns it, maybe he wants to fund it. Maybe if you keep shitting on the guy and attacking him over and over again, you might just motivate him. And if what I read about the guy is true and it's legit how much money he has, then it would be a drop in the bucket and he'd probably be able to do it for fun. So motivate him a little more. Why don't you talk a little more smack about the dude tonight? I mean, seriously, these people don't learn. They've motivated how many people now to go out and to tell you what they know? I mean, again, people like Shar, we would have never heard about. We'd have never heard about the crazy stuff, but they motivated it. Now LP herself... They're trying to motivate to go knives out. It's amazing, man. So funny. Just wonder if we should change our avatars en masse. That'd be really funny, actually. Oh my God. We name oh my God. Every other person is named Bruce and his name's oh my God, that'd be really funny. Like change them to all of them. But Debbie, thank you for the 5 gift days. I'm sorry, I got distracted there. Thank you. It's much appreciated too. Thank you, Debbie. Janice, thanks for the 10 there. Annette will never support herself. She feels entitled and people owe her bad upbringing. She's continuing the same bad cycle. She could do better, but chooses not to. HG will too. Well, I hope not, but I mean, a bad upbringing doesn't necessarily mean that a child, they have a proclivity towards that, but that doesn't necessarily mean it. And these people are going to give me content forever. I swear to God. Dory, thanks for the 2 months there. What about when Lena was running for council? Did she enter that amount and find? Well, that's true too. Did she enter all of that money when she ran for council? I mean, all that money there, but they want to pretend again it's somebody else's money for safekeeping. Because said, Lena, one day it'll all be gone. You'll be sitting there looking over your shoulder, and you'll be like, I wonder where all that money went. I should have said something sooner. Oh, Bear, thanks for the 5. Did you screenshot timestamp? So when Lisa did the JH handwriting come, mind blowing. I sent it to Megan. Figured you'd get it all. Oh yeah, I definitely. Yes, definitely. There's all kinds of stuff in there that'll be fun to cover and to laugh at. These people are so dumb. They are the epitome of stupid, and it's amazing. It will always continue, you know. What's up, Debbie? By the way, thank you for a 10 there. That came through Cash App. Thank you. Love you, Tuck. I love back at you, too. Much appreciated there. I saw sarcasm, too. Is that? There you are. Looking for you there. Thank you for the 10 sarcasm. Will the real Tug please stand up? Indeed. Please stand up and confirm. Indeed. Well, it is indeed a stand up for that. So also I got from Emma. Thank you. Thank you for a 10 there as well. Let's see that. If it's for HG, it should be put in an account for her to get when she turns 18. LP should not get it. 2 L's should definitely not be spending it on themselves. Yeah, actually, they can't do that, though. See, even though they want to say it's for the kid, they fundraised it in LP's name. So they can say after the fact that it was for this or that, but it wasn't. They've said repeatedly it was for a home for these people, and it was for this, and it was for that. So they can't just go back and say, oh, by the way. And with her being a minor, they'd have a few problems with that. Again, it's not like money. Hey, kiddo, you waking up? You out of your nap?
Yeah.
Come over here. I just finished up, so come here. How you doing?
Good.
Good. Did you get your good nap in? Let me move this over for you. Oh, so you can get over here with me.
Yeah, you should have moved it over a long time ago.
Well, I should have moved it a long time ago. You weren't here, though. I didn't need to move it. I had a little table in the way. She couldn't walk over to me.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness,
When I came down here. Yeah. Sometimes.
You're getting heavy, kiddo. You're getting so much bigger.
Yep, I am.
Yep, you are. I know. You're almost 6.
Yep.
Yep. What do you want for your birthday?
I want to go to the candy shop.
Of course. You want to go to the candy shop.
And in my face,
yeah, 3 weeks. So in 3 weeks, that's what you want to do.
Yep. Because I always want to have fun with my family.
Okay. Okay. Well,
can you talk about your cool plane, Dad?
My cool plane? Yeah, actually, I got so about a year ago, it was a year. I don't know if people know anything about G.I. Joes, but about a year ago, the HasLab, that's Hasbro, they made a giant, like vehicles, and they made a giant Rattler plane. And I love that thing.
I have to say,
I just got it today.
I can't actually touch it.
That's what color is that?
Yellow.
How much does that say?
10.
Can you say thank you to Vanessa?
Thank you, Vanessa. And I like the hearts and the emojis.
It says, oh my God, she's been missing you. I hope you finally went to Five Below. You did, didn't you?
Yeah.
She did. She went to Five Below. She loved Five Below, by the way. She thought it was amazing.
Because it has candy. It has gummy eyeballs.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I got a call from there. Sorry about that. Yeah, Vanessa's the one who sent you your gift card.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Yeah, so that's how you got that. That's pretty cool, huh? Yeah, she overspent her budget because she bought her sissy some stuff there too, didn't you?
Yeah, and I got some stuff for me.
Yeah.
I maybe a Krabby Patty meal because I got the last.
Yeah, you did get a Krabby Patty meal, you know. Hey, what color is that?
Yellow.
Well, how much is that?
10.
It's $10. Can you say thank you? Maybe not.
Thank you, maybe not.
Says for you, I suggest Junie B. Jones book series. Oh, that'd be good. You need to find some new books. We've been reading and going over some activity books, weren't we? We were doing somebody sent a cutout book where you can make little cutout shapes, and we were cutting out, what was it? What were we cutting out little things for? Remember?
Pizza.
That's right. We were cutting out little pizza shapes.
I got the monster book out, and they're actually stickers.
Yeah, I know. We got to go through those on the numbers. You want me to show you how to do it?
I got an A. I fished the other one, but I left the other orb, or I whipped it on accident.
Oh, that's okay.
I whipped on accident because
You
it
whipped
was
one?
to go out of the page. I was showing the little movie because it was out of the page.
That's okay. We can fix it. We can get it. And even if it messes up one picture, that's okay. How much is that number?
$5.
$5. And that is Vanessa. Can you say thank you again, Vanessa?
Thank you again, Vanessa.
So I'm glad that you got it cashed out. It said love to you. Oh, that's very nice, isn't it?
Yep.
Look at all the hearts. Yeah, you got to go to Five Below.
Five Below.
I've never been over there. Yeah,
You
I
can-
hadn't.
You can go if
Oh
you
yeah, now
want.
I can go now. I know. I'm saying before I'd never been. All
You
right.
can come with me if you want. I'll go Five Below with you.
Oh, that sounds like fun. All right. Well, hey, do you want to say?
And Dad, and on your day at Five Below.
Yeah, that'd be fun. We could have our own day. That'd be great. All right.
I
Well,
can have a Bobby B day.
hey. Well, we'll see. But you want to tell everybody bye? We're gonna jump off here. We're gonna
Bye.
go. Bye, folks. We will see you tomorrow. And enjoy yourself. I don't know who's on. Go redirect to who's ever on. I appreciate you, folks.